from the campus of Pike High School, welcome to George C. Grosskopf Stadium. And tonight, a little something different on the ISC Sports Network. The MIC is a powerhouse in this sport, too. That would be track and field. We are thrilled to bring tonight's championship meet to you here on the ISC Sports Network. My name is Greg Rakestraw, and I'm sorry to be joined by Kurt Darling. Now, if you listen to talk radio in the market, you will hear Kurt on 93 WIBC with the morning news. You have Kurt on our airwaves from time to time on ISC. What you may not know is that my partner was a high school track and field athlete at Brownsburg High School and was a decathlete at Indiana State University, which makes him well qualified to talk about tonight's subject. What you are looking at is the staging for the 3,200-meter relay, the 4x8 for the girls. North Central, Lawrence North, Lawrence Central, Pike, Ben Davis, and Lawrence Central. Again, the spring sports season, the first without Carmel and Center Grove being a part of the MIC. So those are the 6 schools you will see throughout the course of tonight's activities. Kurt, thank you so much for joining us tonight. What are you looking forward to over the next few hours?
Well, obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how this meet plays out. As you just mentioned, not having Center Grove or Carmel here at today's competition as we get set to go here for the women's 4x800 meter relay, but they stand them up here, but it's just going to be a huge dynamic because there are so many points that are now being given up by those 2 schools that are given back to the field, and it will certainly shake things up to see how the team competition plays out.
From a team standpoint, North Central would be the heavy favorite in this meet because they are the #1 rated team in the state of Indiana. Let's take you lane by lane. Again, North Central, their best time in this event is the top seeded time of 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Lawrence North about 8 or 9 seconds back of them at 10:03. Then you get to Warren Central. Their best time is 10:20. Pike at 10:41. Ben Davis at 11:32. And Lawrence Central has not officially recorded a time in the 4x800 so far this year. Again, each of these young ladies will take 2 laps around the facility. We'll do this 4 times as far as the handoff and everything like that are concerned. And you can expect North Central to be in the 10-minute range if they hold on to that top spot here as they are making their way down the front straightaway for the first of 8 times in this event.
And an interesting dynamic that you'll see throughout this whole meet is the fact that this is probably the most team-oriented meet that you will see all season long when it comes to any of these men's and women's season so far here this season. So bottom line is this: each team is going to be going for points. They're not going to be going for personal best, personal times. I mean, it'll certainly be great to see them get a personal best time so far this season, but bottom line is this: you're here to score points for your team and win a MIC championship, so you're going to be seeing a lot of team play based on how you strategize, how you run each race.
In terms of the relay, do you really run an 800 in a relay scenario much differently than when you run an 800 as an individual?
Well, yes, absolutely, because it's like you're part of a team. So you're running specifically to what your strengths are able to do. You want to get your team in the correct position based on how you run throughout the entire race. As you see Lawrence Central picking it up here, that's Alexis Reynolds, who's the leadoff right now for the Bears. And so you're going to see them moving around here. Actually, that's Lawrence North, Alicia Brown, who is taking it out. And so you're seeing her really pick it up here. They want to make sure they have the lead going into the second leg here. And so it's a good spot for the Wildcats to be in right now going into the second leg.
So Lawrence North will be in spot #1, Warren Central in spot #2, North Central in spot #3, Pike in 4th, and there is a significant gap back to Ben Davis and Lawrence Central after that. First handoff belongs to Lawrence North. Second handoff, again, belongs to Warren Central. Third goes to North Central, and 4th goes to Pike. As far as the order of business here tonight, the girls 4x800, followed by the boys 4x800. Then we'll have the heats in the girls 100 hurdles, the boys 110 hurdles, the girls 100 meters, then the boys 100 meters. While that is going on, we will try to check in as best we can on the field events. We will focus more so on the long jump, the high jump, and the pole vault. And then in the neighborhood of 6:45, 7 o'clock, we will have the championship finals of all of the other events. ranging from the 100 to the 3,200 meters here tonight at Pike High School.
And that's where all of the points will be scored. Remember, you don't get any points for prelim time. So the prelims are important, though, because it sets you up to get lane choice once you get into those finals.
Lap number 1 for this second group of runners in the girls 4x100 again. North Central has jumped back in front there in spot number 1. LN right behind in spot number 2. Right now it is third for Warren Central, fourth for Pike. Again, there are points that are scored from 10 on down. In the individual events, we will score to 8 positions. Obviously, in these relays, we will score just the 6 positions because you have 6 teams competing in this track meet.
Exactly, even so, but still it's 10 points for the winner of the relay. So those are 10 big points that you certainly look for here. Sophia Titmore right now for Lawrence Central is looking really, really comfortable out in front. But still you have Lawrence North, Bailey Powell sticking right with her, just keeping contact. Obviously she's not going to try and burn herself out here, but needless to say is starting to really pick up the pace here with Titmore.
So again, you've got the third leg of this 4x100 runners. They are awaiting down the front straightaway, heading into turn number 1. It is North Central that is starting to get a much more of a cushionable lead here on leg number 2 at about the midway point. Because by the time this handoff happens for North Central, about the 4-minute and 50-second mark, which again would place them well above pace for their best time of the season.
Exactly. That would put them at about maybe in 9:40, 9:50-ish, somewhere in there. And so their best time this season, 9:55. And North Central's really looking good right now as you get the handoff now to Kalina Matthews, who's really opting to take it out really, really hard now for the Panthers, trying to really give herself a little bit of a cushion here, trying to just give her a little bit of breathing room so that way she doesn't have to work as hard once she comes back around for her second lap.
Again, there might be a much better race for second than anything else right now because that gap has really shrunk down the back straightaway. And we're focused on the lead runner. Now you see the wider shot. That is Warren Central trying to track down Lawrence North in the number 2 position. Again, this group has one more lap to go, but right now the closest battle on the track is not for first, it's for second. It is a significant margin right now in favor of the North Central Panthers.
So right now you have Amaya Pittman and Seva Garnett just back there for Warren Central and Lawrence North. And if you're Garnett right now, I would say just stick right to the hip, right, what she's doing at the moment. And you see right there on the back of your screen, she's just sticking right there and just going to try and pace things out a little bit, maybe set up for a little bit of tactics going into the next lap.
So Warren Central, again, has briefly taken the lead in terms of the second position, but they are not in the general vicinity of North Central, which, again, as you looked at the times coming in, North Central's best time was nearly 9 seconds clear of Lawrence North. Then it was 16 seconds back to Warren Central. So really, that's the story of this. North Central doing what was expected. Warren Central is shaving off some significant time in this 4x100 relay.
Indeed they are. Garnett's having a really good second lap here on this third leg. But it's amazing how North Central's really able to keep this pace going, seeing as how they're doing it without their 2 best 800 runners on the team right now. Mary Edwards and Emma Vadenstall, they're going to be saving them for the main event in the regular 800 a little bit later on in this meet. But this is a really good start right now for the Panthers.
Well, what was a battle for second and third has frankly gone away. Warren Central has given themselves a pretty good cushion. That is a significant gap of time from the 3rd spot to the 4th spot. Pike is maintaining that, and you go well back in the field until you see Ben Davis and Lawrence Central. So again, this is playing out as expected for North Central as they're about to make their final handoff of this 4x800 meter relay, and we'll try to do the math on fingers and toes to give you exactly what the distance or time is. That handoff, let's say, occurred at the 7:22 mark. Warren Central will get to the handoff position next, which means the lead is 12 seconds, give or take a beat or two for North Central.
And so now you have Terza here for North Central. She's looking really, really good right out of the gate. And a really good 800-meter runner here in the high school, especially for girls, will go sub 2 minutes 30 seconds. So if you're looking at about that time, that will put North Central just a little bit south of that 9:50 mark coming here to the last leg.
Again, North Central is number 1 in the state in terms of the team. Where does this 4x800 team kind of stack up in terms of potential state consideration when we get to Bloomington the first weekend in
Well,
June.
considering they put their two best 800-meter runners on that team, if they get that far, they're going to be contending for a state championship like they do every year.
Well, something that you don't think about often in the 4x800, you have a chance to lap a couple of competitors here. That's how fast North Central is taking this out. Again, the lead at the last exchange was in the neighborhood of 12 seconds. You hear the bell for the final lap, and that lead has continued to grow here for North Central on the final lap of the 4x800.
But now you can see Terzera, she's starting to maybe slow down just a little bit, knowing you have a pretty hefty lead here. You have a full turn now on second place in Warren Central right now, as they are just now crossing the start-finish line in second, and then Lawrence North right behind them. But bottom line is this is an excellent final leg here by Terzera, just to shut things down and take it home for the points.
But let's take a look. Again, you're seeing the long gap in terms of the lead runner for North Central, but it is now a race again. In fact, Lawrence North has now passed the runner from Warren Central, so LN now has taken a hold of the number 2 position, and everybody might be fighting for second tonight because of how stacked this North Central team is. However, LN trailed for the better part of legs 2 and legs 3. LN is going to have, it appears, a pretty solid second-place finish in this 4x800.
And 8 valuable points in the girls' competition. But here you go with North Central coming home with the win.
Best time of the season was 9:55. They will easily beat that. Now the question is, just how much will they beat it by? It'll be in the neighborhood of about 6 seconds is what they will win that by, so they have shaved at least 5 to 6 seconds off of their top time of the year. North Central takes the number 1 spot in the girls 4x800, and again, Lawrence North will come in second. Warren Central likely will finish third, and again, kind of what we thought how it would play out, and certainly that was the seedings in terms of the times coming in.
And I believe that will be close to probably being one of the top times in the state right there, sub 9:50. That is a really good time for a girls 4x800 relay.
For what it's worth, LN and Warren Central did not match their best times of the season in this today. Warren's time about 4 or 5 seconds better than their best. Same for kind of Lawrence North. Pike will come in fourth. They were really in fourth for the entirety of this event. And Ben Davis and Lawrence Central have yet to finish. Kurt, your thoughts on the first event of the day?
Well, so far so good for North Central. Obviously, scoring out the meet based off of the seeding times that we got on the heat sheets. North Central, they're favored to win this contest, probably by about maybe a 20-point margin. So, needless to say, you're right on schedule there if you're North Central to really to just get a good pace to going into the rest of this meet.
By the way, Warren's official time, those are the times you see flashing on your screen now. Warren's time, 10:24.74. Pike was 10 seconds back, and you're right. The official time for North Central, 9:48.49. So they took nearly 7 seconds off their best time. And as you alluded to, they've got a little more left in the tank
exactly.
in terms of what they can do.
Well, and that just goes to show you how good this North Central girls squad really is, because they did that. That was probably a leading time. That was probably a leading time in the state this year, and they did it without their 2 best 800-meter runners.
We'll take a very short break, and we will come back with the boys 4x800. Thanks for joining us for the Mick Track and Field Championships. Back in a moment as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network. The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score. Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. That's the finish. You get a layup to take it. And an and one. Out of here. Thanks to our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew, Alan Hughes, Jordan Shue, Rob Lynch, Eric Connect, and the rest of the ISC Sports Network team on staff here at Pike High School tonight. Thanks to Kendra and the good folks at Pike High School And it's great that we can be here and provide this service to you on this Friday night. We hope the raindrops stay away. They have done so throughout the course of the day. It is cloudy. It is a bit breezy. It has turned into a rather cool Friday evening. But frankly, this replicates the conditions that most of these teams have raced in so far this year. Now it is time for the boys, 4x800. And right now, the top team from a seeding standpoint, and they have a similar gap from them to their competitors in this setup, is Lawrence North. Their fastest time, 12 seconds clear of Ben Davis, who is checked in at number 2, Warren Central 3, Pike, North Central, and Lawrence Central. That is the depth chart, if you will, in terms of best times coming in 1 through 6.
And North Central, they probably have the most consistent team, which is why they're able to really get to that mark, because their top runner in the 800 this year, Ethan Powell, only a sophomore, 2 minutes this season, his best time. He's only 4th ranked in the conference this season, so they're able to do that, having lesser talent than him, but still being more consistent, more tightly together, and plus, they have some good strategy.
Starter's gun, of course, has gone off. Lawrence North is in lane number 1. Ben Davis is in lane number 2. Obviously, once they make the turn out of turn number 2, they will start to drift towards the inside. They will identify them in terms of place at that point and time. Lawrence North off to a solid start. It's Ben Davis coming all the way over right now into the number 2 position, and they are the number 2 seed in this event.
And going out just about how we expect them to here. But some really quick pace here put on by Lawrence North in the early going.
Almost a bit of a stumble that time between the North Central and Pike runners, and obviously as you're trying to fight for that position, that's going to happen. Again, 8:14, the top time for Lawrence North. Ben Davis, 8:26. Warren Central just a smidge under 8:30. So again, if these teams follow their times, the best battle on the track is probably Ben Davis and Warren Central for 2 and 3 in this event.
But now you see Warren Central coming up here into 3rd place, just kind of getting out of a little bit of traffic right there. And you have a lot more tight-knit racing here in this one as compared to the girls. And Ethan Carter, the leadoff for Warren Central, getting the Warriors in a good spot here for this second lap.
These guys are running in a bit of a headwind as they go down what would be the backstretch going towards the north end of the track. This is a north-south setup in terms of the alignment at Pike. So you finish heading south with a little bit of tailwind behind you tonight.
And it looks like the wind is coming towards us if you're facing us at the press box, and of course, and so if you're looking across the field, the wind is coming in the opposite direction. So you're only really dealing with a headwind for probably when you're going through that first turn, which is certainly much better than taking it the entire way of the length of the 100-meter front straight.
Well, Lawrence Central right now is in front again. Lawrence Central had the worst time of the 6 schools, and
Tidarius Clark really bringing it in, but he's tightening up hard here, and an excellent closing leg here on the first one, trying to jostle for position is Pike.
Yeah, Lawrence Central and Pike both giving it everything they had. It's Ben Davis with the final handoff, and again, Ben Davis came in with the second best time of the 6 schools in today's meet.
So Ben Davis has a lot of ground to make up right now here. In fact, they have a full half of a straightaway lead to make up here for Lawrence Central, who is really coming out strong here. Adam Cheney now with the baton.
And how much of this is potentially you haven't put your best guys in a relay together until this point in time of the season?
Well, yeah, because going into this is a huge meet. So obviously the whole point of the meet is to win it. It's about points. And so you are experimenting with 4x800 relay teams all season long if you're a coach, and dual meets as well as certain invitationals. And so you base who you're going to be running at this particular juncture on how many different athletes have done with different combinations all season.
LC1, LN2, LN on the charge, currently Pike 3. Now you see Ben Davis shooting back to 4th, Warren Central in 5th, and at the line in 6th place is North Central.
So Ben Davis has made up a little bit of ground here, but they're really going to have to kick it into gear here because you're over halfway done now with the race after this lap. But this is a heck of a leg here by Tristan Powell of Lawrence North. Very calm and composed. He looks really, really fluid. He's lifting his legs as well as moving his arms nice and comfortably. He's going to give the Wildcats an excellent little leg here going into the 3rd leg.
Which is, again, what you kind of expected, given the fact that their time was 12 seconds better than anybody else checking in at 8:14. So order somewhat being restored here on leg number 2 with Lawrence North in front.
Now Ben Davis moving back up into third place here as you have David Adensaya, who's really kicking it into gear here for the Giants, just out of your screen. And now you get down into the crunch time of really when you have to deliver.
LN1 on the handoff. LC2 on the handoff. Ben Davis will hand off third. Warren Central hand off fourth. Pike in fifth. And then North Central currently in sixth and out of the running. But it is a lead of, well, I'd say probably in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 meters at this juncture for Lawrence North.
Yeah, indeed. And, of course, you have Tristan Powell handing it off now to Ethan Powell of Lawrence North, and he is really looking fluid, extending that lead now. And here, once again, for second place, you have Ben Davis coming back up here to take second place after they had been last at one point.
We thought the battle would be between Ben Davis and Warren Central for second, and it may still be. You're looking at 300-ish meters left to go in this event. But right now, it is Lawrence Central that has joined that fight for second. They've held it for the last couple of legs, but that might be going away here as we head to the back end of leg number 3.
This is Victor Alex Cuevas for Ben Davis, really saving the Giants right now, but you can see Lawrence Central not giving up that spot too easily there as Aaron Coffer is battling with them right now, and he keeps second spot going into the turn.
So Lawrence North again comfortably in front. This is the second lap of leg number 3. LC is maintaining that second place position.
And it's right around here where you're really starting to feel the burn of lactic acid. That's the acid in your legs that keeps it's designed to keep you from getting injured. And so it's literally your body slowing you down on purpose. But of course, you try to fight that through conditioning training that you do all season long, and it's paying off right now here for Powell.
And again, Lawrence Central is really doing a great job of holding up second place, and looked like Warren was going to challenge him, but right now they're not. There is a significant gap. That is the battle for 2 and 3 that you see on your screen right now, and you're about to see the final handoff on the front straightaway. Again, Lawrence North, that lead has shrunk a little bit now, but still comfortably in front. And again, credit Lawrence Central. They're going to be in solid second position going to the final 800 meters.
That was an excellent third leg by Coffer. You couldn't ask for much more than that right there to keep Lawrence Central not only ahead of Ben Davis but also somewhat in contact with Lawrence North. But you have your fourth and final legs here. These are your best guys that you have in the 800 available on this leg.
By the way, at the back end, it is Pike 4. Warren Central is down to 5th, and North Central has remained mired in 6th. But there are now significant gaps normally all the way around the track. The closest battle could be the fight for 4th between Pike and Warren Central, but LN about to hear the bell lap here. And again, their best time of the year is 8:14. They may be able to shave some time off of that here because when that bell goes off, in about 7:05, 7:06.
You're going to need a 70-second 400 meters right here from the final leg for Lawrence North to make that happen, which you can certainly do in an 800, but again, you're not pushing for a personal best here tonight. You're pushing for points. And right now, Lawrence North has those points in hand as long as their final leg here doesn't trip up. But you can see right now here, Lawrence North's final guy here, Nick Ostendorf, he seems to be struggling a little bit here going down the back stretch.
But there is a lot of ground that Lawrence Central would have to make up in that scenario.
James Chapman is the final leg here for Lawrence Central, and he's closed it up now. He's probably about 25 meters behind now.
But 25 meters behind with about 100 meters to go for the guy that is in front. So again.
But the burn of lactic acid can can slow you down very immensely.
You'll file that away for maybe the sectional. I'm not sure you're going to catch him tonight, but now the question is, Lawrence North is going to win. Will they be able to improve their best time of the year?
It's not looking like
I don't think so, yeah. It's going to be a couple of seconds short, but LN does their job as he finishes right around the 8:16 mark. But Lawrence Central improves their best time by more than 30 seconds to finish in second place. Ben Davis will finish in third. It could be a heat, a dead sprint for 4th between Warren Central and Pike. You'll see at the line, great camera work by our crew. Looks like Warren Central just by a nose. Now, let's also credit, we referenced the fact that LC drastically improved their best time. That's Pike's best time of the year in the 4x100 as
Yes,
well.
it is. Sometimes you really get your best performances when the meet is on the line, especially when a big meet like this. But a huge, huge meet there for Lawrence Central to get second place in the 4x8. They were slated to only get 3 points in the initial scoring. Well, they now get 8 points. So that's 8 points that they're taking away from Ben Davis, making it that much harder for the Giants to really keep pace with Lawrence North.
LN1, LC2 in our 4x100 relay. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back with our first heat for the girls' 100-meter hurdles. That comes your way next as you're watching the Mick Track and Field Championships right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And, of course, we do the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program every Monday on ISC Sports Network. Derek, it airs at what time?
7:30.
Okay, every Monday at 7:30. We're now on season number 2, and if history tells us anything, catch us now because you never know when they pull the plug on it.
Why would you say that?
Because it's happened
That's not
before.
going to happen here. Comcast, Xfinity 81, ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so many places to watch Query and Schultz, 7:30 on Monday.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Well, not the 100 hurdles, just the 100 that is coming up next here at Pike High School. You're about to see one of the top high school track and field athletes in the country. Ramaya Elliott will run at the University of Florida next year. Lane number 5 at 12.29 seconds. She is, in this heat, 0.4 of a second faster than anyone else. In terms of the next heat, she is 0.21 of a second faster. Already, multiple times, has been named the Gatorade Track and Field Athlete of the Year. She played basketball at North Central last year, elected not to this year to focus on a track and field future. And simply put, Kurt, she has a chance to be the next Olympian to come from Marion County.
Well, and just to put that in perspective, you're going to be seeing her running the 200 meters later tonight. She is her best time that she has put down so far this year, which is roughly 23 seconds and some change, is only 1 second slower than the leading time in the entire nation, both professional, amateur, high school, college, you name it. That's Gabby Thomas. So needless to say, you're going to be seeing a really talented athlete right here in Ramaya Elliott.
Well, let me state, with Kurt and I, our production meeting, our pre-production meeting / conversation, and he goes, Gabby Thomas, and I go, Olympian Gabby Thomas?
That
and
is
he goes,
correct.
Olympian Gabby Thomas, yes, to give you an idea as to what the future holds for her. And what was really neat, and kind of going back through, the Mick track and field record books, is the amount of Olympians that have been here. Obviously, most recently, Lena Irby from right here at Pike High School, part of some championship relays at the 2020 Olympics that were held last summer in Tokyo. But there are others. Ashley Spencer, that immediately comes to mind, that is a former Olympian as well. Again, simply put, you expect every program in the MIC to be successful, or every sport to have top-level athletes, and obviously that is the case here when it comes to track and field.
Absolutely. And another one, of course, was one of my teammates while I was at Indiana State, Felicia Johnson, who threw at Lawrence North. She ended up becoming the bronze medalist in the shot put. And needless to say, she has had an excellent career. She was a 4-time national champion outdoors, 3-time indoors. Just, you see a plethora of talent coming out of this MIC conference here, and you see the future of it on display here this evening.
All right, let's take you lane by lane. Again, there will be 6 athletes in each heat. So you'll use lanes 3 through 8. We will send 9 to the championship coming up later tonight. Adriana Woods of Lawrence North in lane 3. Sequoia Gilbert of Warren Central in lane 4. Ramaya Elliott of North Central in lane 5. Olivia Kearns of Lawrence Central in lane 6. Leah Long of Pike is in lane 7. Zanaya Major of Ben Davis is in lane 8. Basically, there is 1 athlete from each school in each of these 2 heats. You can put 2 in this event, and you can send 9 total to the finals, which will come up a couple hours from now.
And of course, the finals is when you score the points. So In this particular heat here, this is prelims, so you're probably not going to be seeing a breathtaking time from Ramaya Elliott. All she wants to do is advance to the final, and so you're going to be seeing a lot of that here to set the pace here for what should be an interesting final later on this evening.
So runners getting ready. We're off. Top 2 from each heat get a guaranteed spot. Next 5 fastest. Elliott out and flying as expected. She can shut it down here momentarily and will. The race for second. Race for second is going to go, I believe, to Olivia Kearns. That will get the second automatic transfer time through.
So you saw Ramaya Elliott pull up there with about maybe 10 meters left to go. She knew she had it in hand. Her personal best overall is 11:78 in the 100 meters. She probably went about a full second slower than that and still easily won that heat.
11:96.
11:96.
Her best time of the year.
Yes.
Now again, you can always review times. We're giving you the time that is flashed on the board, but yeah, she's pretty good.
just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think she's gonna go places.
The great thing about an event like the 100, we can show you the entirety of the run before the next run goes, and tell me what you see here from this angle with the sprinters coming right at you.
Well, you can just see she's comfortable, relaxed in the face. She knows that she's got it out there, probably about 50 meters to go. She can shut it down, save some time for the final when she's really going to have to kick it into gear.
By the way, Ramaya's got some Usain Bolt to her as well. She's 6 feet tall.
Well, and that's the thing. It doesn't look like she's going all that fast, but it's because she has that long stride. And when you combine that with explosive speed, you get a Usain Bolt-esque type of performance. And so you're going to be seeing a lot from her.
All right, so the athletes that are in heat number 2, and again, there's plenty of speed in this heat as well. Lacey Norfolk of Lawrence Central, Ariana Smith of Ben Davis. This is lane 3, lane 4. Vaden of Warren Central, 5th. Katalia Jones of Pike in lane 6. Layla Jewell of North Central in lane 7. Tiana Thompson of Lawrence North is in lane number 8. And again, start from the middle and work your way out in terms of times. Vaden has the best time of this group at 12.5. She is in lane number 5 for Warren Central.
And she's only a sophomore, too, so she has 2 more years here for Warren Central, and she's very talented. She's the Franklin Regional Champion in the 100 meters last year as a freshman, running 12 seconds 62. So she is an impressive athlete that will be challenging, maybe not today, but for a future MIC championship in this event.
And the bar was set by Elliott at just under 12 seconds in the first heat. Top 2 guaranteed spots. The next fastest 5 of the 2 heats combined. It's Vaden. From North Central, it's Jewell. Vaden and Jewell appear to have taken the top 2 spots. That's the order. Then in lane number 6, it's Jones, who had the 3rd fastest time, and you would assume that would carry her in to the championship as well. Vaden's time, in fact, 12.45, so she takes 500ths off of her best time of the year.
And so she's obviously looking for a personal best right there, and she certainly has it right there. And again, just a great start out of the blocks here for Vaden, but a heck of a run here from Jewell as well in the outside lanes there. She's really pumping her arms, but you can just see Vaden really straining a little bit right there, making sure she got the win. And hopefully she still has enough left in the tank for the final later on.
So we're going to go now to the boys 100. The fastest times of this group. Reeves Lyle of Warren Central in lane 5, 10.66. TJ McWilliams of North Central is in lane 3. Javon Harmon, young man that's a 3-sport athlete at Lawrence Central. Football player, will play at Kent State next year. Basketball player as well. But on the track and field, 11.35, his fastest time in lane number 4. Aeneas Bryan of Lawrence North is in lane 6. Cameron Jackson of Pike is in lane 7. And Zane Skabinski, he too a 2-sport athlete, plays football at Ben Davis as well. He is in lane number 8. But Jalen Reeves Lyle, more than a half second faster than anybody else in this heat this
Well,
year.
not only just faster than anybody else this year at this meet, he's faster than anybody in the state this year. He has the top time in the state at 10:66 so far this season. Only a junior, and he ran that just a few weeks ago at the LC Invite. And he's coming off of, but still, he was not the fastest in the indoor season. He was second to Elijah Jackson of LC at the MIC Indoor Championships this year.
And let's talk about that because it's not an IHSA sport. But indoor track and field has very much become a thing.
Oh, yes.
Something that has grown exponentially in this state over the last few years.
Of course, yeah, you have it's HSR, so it's Hoosier State Relay qualifiers. But needless to say, it's a great time to just get a jump on the outdoor season, and you have a whole bunch of really cool events. You also get to run at really cool facilities. You have qualifiers at Indiana University. You have them up at Purdue as well. But needless to say, it's just a great way to get things moving, so that way many teams can really hit the ground running going into the outdoor season.
Sprinters getting ready. Again, this is heat 1 of 2. After this, we will have the heats for the girls' own 100-meter hurdles and the boys' 110 hurdles. Sprinters ready. Fastest time of this group, again, 10.66. It's Warren Central 1, LN 2. Reeves Lyle can kind of cruise into that one. The automatic transfer goes to Bryant of Lawrence North. And again, fastest 5 of the 4 that automatically qualify, plus the next 4 from the next race. As of the 12 that made the heats, 9 advance on to the final.
And you could see Reeves Lyle, he still looked very comfortable going sub 11 seconds there, I believe, in this prelim. And you see just nice and relaxed on the outside, but you see Bryant really kind of straining a little bit, but maintaining some relaxation in his face. He gets that second automatic qualifying, but an excellent run there by Jalen Reeves Lyle. And it'll be interesting to see here going into the last one.
Now, Reeves Lyle, 11:11 was his time. And again, he's got more left in the tank, which you're trying to save some for later. 11:11. The next time for Bryant was 11:43. T.J. Williams, young man that plays football at North Central as well, 11:57. Jamon Harmon, 11:62. One of 3 young men that will play football at Kent State in the fall from the Indianapolis area. All of them were basketball players as well.
Hey, sometimes you have a whole bunch of, you have multifaceted, multi-sport athletes here running track and field, and you have to be an athlete.
We have numerous kids that are 3-sport athletes that are playing this. I know that for Lawrence North, both Danny Royster and Omar Cooper, who will make their futures as Division I football players, well, that was 40% of Jack Kiefer's final starting lineup this year.
There we go.
At Lawrence North. So I like to see that, but frankly, I love the fact that you've got kids, even at schools of this size, that are multiple sport athletes. I thought it was really just neat that you'd had 3 kids from this area all can play Division I football that at least played one other sport, and in Harmon's case, 2 other sports.
Well, and that comes back to a good culture, culture of the school. But plus a lot of these coaches, they demand of their athletes, if you're playing football on my team, you're going to be playing another sport at some point, and you're probably going to be running track and field in the spring. And it certainly helps not only keep your conditioning up for those other sports, but, it just keeps you going. It gives you something to do in the springtime, or vice versa in the fall if you're playing football.
Well, to that point, the boys track coach at Lawrence North, it's Pat Mallory, the head football coach at Lawrence North.
It certainly helps when that's the case.
And on the girls' side for North Central, Mark Haste is their head coach, who has won a state championship in his days at Tri-West High School, and as well coached at North Central from a football perspective, too. Second heat here, Damian Curlin of Pike in lane 3. Israel Jackson, Lawrence North, lane 4. You referenced Elijah Jackson, lane 5. Christian Woodson, North Central, lane 6. Vermont Johnson of Warren Central in lane 7. And Zion Graham of Ben Davis is in lane number 8. Fastest time of this bunch, Elijah Jackson, 10.86. It is Elijah Jackson flying down the field. It is Woodson. And then it is Jackson leading the charge. And
What a run by Elijah Jackson. He
Absolutely.
stumbled out of the blocks. It looked like he was about to fall on his face, but he gathered himself and just exploded to the lead. That was so impressive.
By the way, his time, 11-1-2, 1/10 of a second, or 100th of a second, excuse me, slower than Reeves Lyle again. Maybe didn't have his A game. Let's take a look right here.
But you saw right out of the gate there, he stumbled. It looked like he was about to fall over as he was coming out of the block, so he did not have a very good start. But the fact of the matter is, and you can see how built he is, he really recovered with explosiveness to keep his feet under him and cruise to that win.
We will see all of these athletes coming up again later on tonight. We'll take a moment here to take a quick timeout because they got to get their hurdles set for our next two heats, for the girls 100 and the boys 110. Back after this as you're watching the MIC Track and Field Championships right here on the ISC Sports Network.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
Ah,
caught.
there you
oh,
go.
wow. Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That it is
Oh!
Wrestler! Whoa!
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman. Oh, my goodness. 122.60 for Penn.
What a swim! Six of them.
Back on the ISC Sports Network, our final track event before a 15-minute pause before the championship events take place. There is activity going on right now in terms of the high jump, the long jump, and the pole vault. Shot put and discus as well. Shot and disc at this all-turf facility inside the track, not surprisingly, outside of the facility. So we'll try to update you on those as best we can. Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling here with you. There you see the activity taking place in the discus.
Of course, that's the boys discus going on right now. You're going to be looking for a big performance from Antoine Cooper as well as David Lara Gonzalez of Ben Davis. They are slated to finish 1-2, 18 valuable points they could get right there. Of course, the leading throw in the state so far this year for the boys discus is from Antoine Cooper of Ben Davis, 169 feet and 4 inches.
So the girls' first heat of the 100-meter hurdles, lane 3 is Ruby Rogers of North Central. Anya Rollins of Warren Central is in lane 4. Rand Hogan of Ben Davis in lane 5. Kyla Booker of Pike is in lane 6. Shamari Riley of Lawrence North in lane 7. Mackenzie Morton of Lawrence Central is in lane number 8. Hogan has the best time of the 12 competitors in this first heat and second heat combined. She's the only one to run a sub-15 100-meter hurdle so far. See if she can do it again. It's going to be just 5, kind of taken to the track in this one. This is Hogan of Ben Davis. To her left is Rollins of Warren Central. They'll be the top 2 competitors, and they will automatically advance on.
Very clean race there by Hogan. Very composed. Only a sophomore. She was 3rd place in the MIC Outdoor Meet just a year ago as a freshman. So looking for another big performance from her are the Giants.
And Hogan's time, 16.01. Again, she's got at least a second more in that. And able, again, you can look around and see. You can slow down a little bit knowing you were solidly on to the championship final. Unfortunately, Ruby Rogers, a bit of a stumble. However, Morton did not take to the starters line, so only 2 athletes from these 2 heats will not make the championship. So there is a chance that Rogers potentially could still make that championship final. Lady Dietz of North Central in lane 3. Sanaya Freeman of Lawrence North in lane 4. Nevaeh Liscum of Ben Davis is in lane 5. Carissa Addison of Pike is in lane 6. Mary Porter, she too a multiple sport athlete from Warren Central in lane 7. Chanel Bennett of Lawrence Central is in lane number 8. Mary, in fact, is the starting center on the basketball team at Warren Central, so she's got the height that you requisitely like to have from a hurdler's perspective.
Well, of course, in my days doing the decathlon, working on the decathlon at ISU, I only stand about 5'10". So needless to say, I don't have the legs to get over the hurdles. But if you're the center on the basketball team and you have the length and you have the athleticism, needless to say, the track coach is going to come calling saying, hey, come run 100 meters for me and just jump over these barriers. It will be just fine.
That was Mary there in the left-hand corner of your screen. That's Addison of Pike. And on the screen is Liscombe of Ben Davis. Top two automatically qualify for the championship final coming up in a couple of hours. 16:01, the best time from Heat 1. Liscombe of Ben Davis, that's Porter in lane 7. Out to a solid start. Porter, nothing but air and opportunity for her. Porter crosses the time stripe at right around 16 flat.
And Mary Porter just made that look easy. She pulled up right after getting over the final row of hurdles and cruised. But I'm surprised how Nevia Liscombe of Ben Davis didn't exactly have that good of a race. She stumbled going into the first hurdle and really just couldn't recover her footing. And that's a lot of what this race is. It is timing. It is also cadence. If you mess up that cadence even once, the whole race gets thrown off.
Yeah, Liscombe had the third best time of the group coming in. Again, she should still make the final into the top 9. But it is Porter that has the automatic qualifier, and I believe it was Addison of Pike that finished second of this group. As you see him coming right at you.
And she's not even fully extending her leg when she goes over the hurdle, so that just goes to show you how those long legs and that tall frame really is beneficial in this event.
And Porter did have the top time of either heat. She finished at 15.92. In fact, she was a second faster than any of the other finishers here in this heat.
And so she'll have a really good base to go off of here going into the final later on, as now they take some time to get the men's hurdles all lined up. And, of course, they line those up on different hashes because they run an extra 10 meters in their event.
Ricky Vu of North Central will be in lane number 3. Jeremiah Berry of Pike will be in lane number 4. Graham West of Ben Davis in lane number 5. James Vaden Jr. of Lawrence North in lane number 6. Michael Durham of Warren Central in lane 7. And Jaden Dresselhaus of Lawrence Central will be in lane number 8. Best time of this group belongs to West in lane 5. He has the best time of any of the 12 competitors so far on the season. This group, his best time, 15.14 here in the 110 hurdles.
Of course, West was 11th last year in the MIC Outdoor. He was also the Southport sectional runner-up in 2021 with a best time of 16:23. So he's really improved from year over year and is looking to get his first MIC Outdoor Conference championship here. But you'll also see, again, you'll see a little bit of Reeves Lyle as well in this competition. Actually, no, you won't. He's not listed on the heat sheet. I had him wrong on my spot chart. But still, Graham West going to be a heck of a competitor here. He's going to just try and set a good pace here. As you see, a good look at him right there in his lane.
Again, 12 over the 2 heats. 9 qualify for the championship final coming up later tonight. Each school gets 2 competitors, 1 in each heat. And after this event, we will take a bit of a pause. At least the on-track activity will. We'll give our crew a bit of a break, too. We'll keep you updated as to what's going on in the field events, but we'll kind of resume full coverage when we get back to on-track activity. Runners ready. Heat number 1 of the 110-meter hurdles. Fastest time in this group, 15.14. Lawrence North. That's Vaden off to a solid lead. West trying to track him down. I know they are 1-2, but very little separating. Hurdlers 1 through 5. It will be Vane 1, West 2. Those are the automatic qualifiers, but frankly, I would expect the 3 guys right behind West to be into the final as well.
Yeah, they all had really solid times, but that was kind of a lackluster performance there from Graham West. He didn't exactly get a really good start going into the first set of hurdles, but meanwhile, Vaden had some excellent cadence going through his hurdles, and it was just a very well-run race there by Vaden to get into the final.
Vaden 1/10 slower than his best time of the year. His best time of the season, 15.31. That one goes at 15.41. Again, Durham to his right. From Pike, Barry to the left. I expect all 4 of those competitors, and likely Vu from North Central in lane 3. I think all of them will make it to the championship final.
Yeah, you'll probably have enough of a cushion there to at least get there, because you'll have a few slower competitors going into heat number 2, but you're still going to get a couple of here. One of them, of course, in particular, Danny Royster III, along with others.
And Danny is a young man that I've had a chance to call a lot of his athletic events at Lawrence North High School, because he's a defensive end that will play at Ball State next year, was the starting center on the basketball team this year, and now runs track and field. So he and Omar Cooper, again, the two we talked about, D1 football players, outstanding high school basketball players, and running track and field as well. And think about this. So you have a linebacker / defensive end that you have running the 110-meter hurdles. My goodness.
Hey, if he's tall and he has long legs and he's an athlete and has good cadence, you can run the hurdles. So anybody that you can get, and of course it makes perfect sense. If you're tall, you can certainly run the hurdles.
4 months from now, I'll be hurdling offensive tackles. Right now,
yeah, no kidding.
A little skinnier to get around in this event for one Danny Royster.
Not every day you see an offensive tackle careening over eight sets of barriers over 110 meters.
And again, I think Danny will be kind of a speed rusher and maybe even an outside linebacker. He played kind of a hybrid spot for Pat Mallon in the football field. But again, love seeing kids that are 3-sport athletes, because so often you get pushed into specialization. Well, not necessarily at this level. It's really great to see.
Well, sometimes you can certainly specialize when you're in high school, but sometimes it just helps to change things up a little bit. And certainly track and field is a great way to change things up, as you get a good look right there at Danny Royster III from Lawrence North.
Let's make sure you reference all competitors in this heat. Micah Williams at the right-hand side of your screen, lane 3 of Lawrence Central. David Farrer of Ben Davis to the left of Royster. Winters of Warren Central in lane number 6. Quinderis Page of Pike in lane 7. Antonio Smith of North Central is in lane number 8. Royster the fastest time of this group, but not much separate Farrer, Royster, and Winters in this heat. Lanes 4, 5, and 6. Royster off to a good start. And pretty even behind him as expected. But Royster flying over the hurdles. Royster clears the last hurdle. He'll win this heat. Looks like the next automatic qualifier will be Farrer of Ben Davis. Again, I would expect the top 3 or 4 athletes to easily transition through. And if Royster can smile at the end of his 110-meter hurdles, you know he's in pretty good shape for the final.
You just see Royster as he's doing this. Now notice the guys that get next to him are kind of leaping over the hurdles. You don't see any leaping from Royster. That's because he has such excellent form. He just glides right over the top of the hurdles. It's one continuous motion. That means he has good cadence, good form, and therefore a good race.
So Danny Royster knows he is on to the championship final in the 110 hurdles. We'll take this quick time out. We'll come back with more from Pike High School in just a matter of moments as you're watching the MIC Track and Field Championships right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. Got it! She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Brady,
Hello.
did it again.
Hello.
Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello. There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Has it, leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges.
Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marion County.
Unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Living up to that last name.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Are they doing 200 here?
Also from Pike High School, Trinity Williams.
Are they?
Starting at 5, currently holding the number 1 time in the state of Indiana, North Central Panther, Ramaya Elliot. Starting at 6, Warren Central Warrior, Skylar Saint, currently holds the number 5 time in the state of Indiana.
They didn't have finals on the, or prelims on the.
And in 8, Lawrence North, Adriana Woods.
Gotcha, you got us? Hello, hello, hello. Nope. Cameras are hearing each other, aren't we? Yep, I'm talking. Yep. Hello, hello, hello. Yep.
All right, you back with me?
Got us now?
Yep, we're here. Yeah.
So yeah, looks like they are going to do 200 time trials.
All right, one more event before we get to our little 15-minute hiatus before we get to all of our championship finals. There will be timed prelims in the 200. So we'll make sure we bring you the girls and boys 200s before we then take a bit of a break. Fastest time in the girls 200, again, Ramaya Elliott of Warren Central, 23.61. She is running in heat number 1. Her fastest time is a second and a half faster than anyone else that is in the field. Laner, heat number 1, will have Alyssa Harris of Pike, Trinity Williams of Pike, Ramaya Elliott of North Central, Vaden of Warren Central, Delia Broaders of Lawrence North, and Amira Shabazz of Lawrence North as well.
And so Ramaya Elliott, she ran a personal best out of season at the New Balance Indoor Nationals back in mid-March. 23 seconds 34, which is faster indoors than what she's gone outdoors this season. So again, and as I talked about earlier, that time indoors is actually just 1.3 seconds slower than the fastest outdoor time of Gabby Thomas, the Olympian Gabby Thomas nationally all season so far. So you're going to be seeing a heck of a performance probably here tonight from Ramaya Elliott.
Making the turn here on this sprint event. What sort of training goes into that, the difference in the 100 and the 200?
Well, obviously, it all comes down to feel, basically. It's not exactly something that you can teach, per se. You just have to have a knack for it a little bit. But, you know, when you're running the 200 meters, you keep in mind that, yeah, most 100-meter runners that specialize in that, you just adding another 100 meters and you're keeping it moving. You just kind of grind through the turn, and then once you hit the front straight, that's when you really turn on the jet. So you have different strategies. So obviously runners like maybe back in the mid-2000s, Tyson Gay, he was probably one of the best turn runners for the U.S. I think I've ever seen. And he just flew right through the turn, had really good strides. You just have to have a slight little lean going into it. But also, it's more beneficial to be running on the outside lanes than the inside lanes because you don't have to turn as much, therefore you can carry more speed.
By the way, not surprisingly, this is the final sprint event that will be run. So, again, this will be the, not next to last, but the one before that in terms of our championship heats. Our order of play once we get back from our 15-minute break. The hurdles finals, 100-meter dash final, 1,600-meter, the 400-meter relay, 400-meter individual, 300 hurdles, 800-meter run, then the finals in the 200 Then we'll get to the 3,200-meter run and the 1,600-meter relay. Those are the championship events that we will have for you.
And speaking from experience, the 4x4 at the end is always the most fun event at any track and field meet.
The sprinters getting ready for Heat 1. And Elliott, the favorite, she is in lane number 5. Elliott out in front making the turn. That is Vaden to her right. And those two have a significant gap, and then Elliott turns on the Jets. And again, she can shut it down about now if she would like to. Vaden will finish in second, the automatic qualifier. The pair from Lawrence North in Broaders and Shabazz come in third and fourth respectively. And much like we saw the earlier heats, top two automatically qualify, then it is the fast 5 of the last 8 that get into our championship.
Ramaya Elliott is just so smooth. She was a little clunky here going through the turn, but she was able to just stay upright and just get a good little pace going into the final straightaway. And you see to her left there, Vaden, just kind of a little out of control going through that turn, but able to gather going through the final straightaway. But just Ramaya Elliott, you can just see how she pulls away effortlessly and then shuts it down right through the final 10 meters.
24:36 was her finishing time. And again, that was with rather coasting the last, say, 15, 20 meters of that 200.
And that a 24-second 200 coasting like that is very impressive. Just the fact that she was able to pull that off and still looking like she barely expended any energy. She's going to have a lot left in the tank for the final later on.
Let's talk about heat number 2. Mariah Fields of Ben Davis in lane number 3. Cassidy Jones of North Central in lane number 4. Kasira Simmons of Ben Davis in lane 5. Olivia Kearns of Lawrence Central in lane 6. Sequoia Gilbert of Lawrence Central, lane 7. And Victoria Smiley of Lawrence Central is in lane number 8.
Kasira Simmons, the third place finisher in the MIC Outdoor just a year ago. She was also third in the state finals. So you have a lot of talent outside of Ramaya Elliott here at this MIC championship here today.
Yeah, Simmons is clearly the second in terms of speed. She's a half second faster than those directly behind her in terms of Vaden and Kearns. And Kearns will be to her immediate right in this heat.
This is always kind of an excruciating part here if you're one of these athletes just standing and waiting. You're ready to go, and you just have to wait for the timing and scoring to just get everything in order. And they have to communicate through flag and hand signals back with timing and scoring at the start-finish line all the way across the field. So it can be certainly a little challenging running this particular event, but then you get settled into the blocks, and then you just wait for the gun.
Gun is in the air. Obviously waiting on the sprinters to get ready. We're off in the second heat of the 200 meters. Simmons in 5. Kearns in 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to announce the finalists.
Simmons out on a flyer. And she should easily win this heat. Now the question is, can Jones catch Kearns for second? The answer will be no. Kearns will have the second qualifying spot. Jones should easily qualify in third for the championship, but impressive, certainly, for Simmons.
Simmons had an excellent curve. She had a nice little lean. Her stride was perfect, and then was able to get into that final straightaway. And just a little bit of a stand-up on the start, but just a very well-run curve right here to get a nice lean and going into that straightaway.
By the way, her best time of the year, 25:04. Now again, is she going to threaten Elliott in this event? Probably not, but still, it's all about doing your personal best. And so far for Simmons, that's her best of the year.
Well, Simmons, she was second in the state. She's actually the second fastest competitor in the state behind Elliott right now. So she just improved upon that second fastest time in the state right there with that performance. And she still has a little bit more in the tank because she pulled up a little bit there at the end. So she still had a lot left, and you could see that she had it there. So it'll be an interesting final coming up here, coming in a little bit later on.
Let's go to the boys' first 200-meter prelim. Tyon Clark of Lawrence Central in lane number 3. Sean Holton of Ben Davis in lane number 4. Jalen Reeves-Lyle, the favorite in the 100. Lane 5 in the 200. Aeneas Bryant of Lawrence North in lane number 6. Then Damian Curlin of Pike and Xavier Brooks of North Central rounding out the 6 that make up this field.
So another competitive field. Obviously, you'll have Reeves-Lyle again going sub-23 this year. Not much experience, though, in the 200. He's had moderate success so far this season, 3rd place at the LC Invite back on April 16th. But other than that, he's really been a 100-meter specialist for Warren Central up to this point.
James Vaden Jr., also of Lawrence North. Graham West, Ben Davis. Michael Durham, Warren Central.
Sprinters are waiting here.
And again, just that long wait, waiting for the signal from timing and scoring back at the start-finish line.
Pike and Micah Williams of Lawrence Central. Once again, your boys 110-meter.
Kind of going over who has qualified for the finals and the 110 hurdles. That's the announcement you're hearing over the PA system.
And, of course, they have to make that announcement in order to give coaches time to make any necessary scratches. And if they do end up having any athletes scratched, then the next fastest time will come up from the prelims and then take that spot.
And again, the hurdles are the first event after our intermission. So that is the next thing up here on the track at Pike High School. So the boys 200-meter sprinters at the blocks. And are ready. In lane 5 is Reeves-Lyle. Flying down the track. Bryant will finish in second. Again, Reeves-Lyle shutting it down.
Nicely done there by Reeves-Lyle. Looks like we have a little bit of a malfunction with the timing and scoring board that shows the times here. They're still able to get the times, but the clock right now is showing all of nothing right now, so we don't exactly have an official time for you. But still an excellent curve here run by Lyle, immediately making up that stagger on Bryant halfway through the turn and just looking really, really comfortable right there through the final straight.
So the top 2 automatically qualify. You'd expect that potentially the 3 right behind Bryant, all of a relatively level time in terms of trying to make that championship coming up later tonight. Now going on to heat number 2. Harrell of Lawrence Central, Jackson of Lawrence North, Christian Woodson of North Central, Troy Gold of the Pike, Matthew Rodriguez of Ben Davis, and Kendall Reeves of Lawrence Central. Fastest time belongs to Christian Woodson. He and Troy Golden in lanes 5 and 6 respectively have run virtually even times at the course of the season.
So Troy Golden is one of the sprinters who's really in a unique situation here when it comes to the sprints. He doesn't run the 200. He doesn't run the 100 meters. He's more of a 200, 400 meter specialist, kind of comparable to that of Michael Johnson from back in the early 1990s, of course, who ended up winning the gold medal in the 200 and the 400 at the 1996 Olympic Games. But it's certainly comparable how you see these runners go one way or the other. Golden qualified last year for the 400 meter state finals, but only finished 13th. But he still ran sub-50 in the 400, so he certainly has the speed to be competitive in the 200 meters.
100-meter hurdle finals. This is also a reminder that all athletes should report to the clerk under the red tent at the north end of the stadium.
So there they are, still just standing up.
His or her event.
Again, just a tough thing when you're a competitor waiting to get into the blocks. You're almost more comfortable sitting in the blocks than you are standing up like that because you know you're about ready to go.
We'll pass along times when we have the opportunity. However, in our Clock at the start-finish line currently not displaying anything, so we'll simply focus on how the athletes are finishing, knowing what the automatic qualifiers are, and we'll see 9 of these 12 in the championship final. Coming up later tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the finalists of the girls 200-meter dash. Following are your girls 200-meter dash.
So now they're in the blocks, and now they're going to have the competitors stand up here as they are announcing the finalists here for the 200-meter dash. So they were getting into their blocks, and now they're going to have them stand up again. Of course, you can't start a race while there's public address going on. So once again, we stand up and we're waiting.
9 finalists are being announced for the girls 200, which were just run. Those 2 heats were just run a couple of moments ago.
200-meter finalists: Elliott, Simmons, Vaden, Kearns, Jones.
Fastest time in the state this year in the 200 meters, Brandon Wheat of Center Grove. Of course, Center Grove formerly of the MIC Conference here, so we won't be seeing any of the Trojans here tonight. But Brandon Wheat, part of that state championship winning football team for Center Grove in the fall. A wide receiver running back, of course, playing a whole bunch of different positions in that wing T offense there for Center Grove. But now we're getting into the blocks for this prelim of the 200.
Second heat of the 200. Top 2 guaranteed, and likely the 2 or 3 fastest behind those 2. Woodson and Golden. Know the track 5 and 6. Is Woodson in lane number 5, out in front. To his left is Jackson of Lawrence North. Now on the charge is Golden and Pike. Woodson trying to hang on. Golden and Woodson coast into the championship final. Israel Jackson to their left should likely make it as well.
Well, I'm going to say this here, Greg. Woodson's lucky because he did the worst thing you can possibly do in a track and field race, and that is look to your sides. You're not supposed to look at where your competition is because that takes away from your form and thus slows you down. Now, you see he had a really good start here, but some really good closing speed from Golden. But then watch Woodson here. He's going to look to his right, and he keeps looking to his right to look to see where his competition is. Well, in fact, his competition came from his left, but needless to say here, he's still in a good qualifying spot, so he'll be able to try and rectify that in the final.
So, Woodson on to the final, as is Golden. Jackson likely to join them as well. Again, we will take a small break. Again, there will be a hiatus on the on-track activities, about 15 minutes or so. We'll keep you posted as to what's happening in terms of the field events, the jumps, the throws, etc. But back with the sprint and distance finals in about 15 minutes or so as you're watching the MIC Track and Field Championships right here on the ISC Sports Network.
3, 2, 1.
As the first dunk in the building from Aaron Joya. Waits, Waddell finishes.
And lays it in.
There is right now the
Nice
play of the game.
move. Better finish. We might see that on plays of the week.
Great feed. The finish. Spin, win, 3.
Bury it in the lane. No, gun, yes.
Stop. Whoa, what a play. Flying in.
6th place was the Lawrence Central Bears. In 5th, the Ben Davis Giants. In 4th, the Pike Red Dogs. In 3rd, with a time of 10 minutes, 24.74 seconds, the Lawrence Central Warriors. Your runner-up, the team from Lawrence North, in a time of 10 minutes, 10.69 seconds. And your conference champions in the girls 4x800 meter relay, the team of Rocio, Matthews, Pitmore, and Tazera, with a time of 9 minutes,
Clock's back on the other
48.49 seconds.
That's good.
Yep. My thought is great. We'll come back up after as soon as the anthem is done. We'll jump back on.
North Central. Pike. In 4th, Warren Central. In 3rd, with a time of 8 minutes, 31.55 seconds, the Ben Davis Giants.
Yeah, did you end up getting those?
Your runners-up in a time of 8 minutes, 21.78 seconds.
I think so.
The Lawrence Central Bears. And your conference champions with a time of 8 minutes, 16.03
I will let you know for sure.
seconds. the team of Ellis, Powell, and Ostendorf, the Wildcats of Lawrence North High School.
Yeah, Alan, I was trying to catch you took the start of the 200 from that. I would even think about doing the start of the other sprints too, the 100 and the hurdles and everything from down there. It just seems like I'm a little awkward at the start because I'm so wide.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to announce the boys 200-meter finalists. Following are the boys who qualified for the finals in the 200-meter dash. Jalen Reeves-Lyle, Warren Central. Troy Golden, Pike. Christian Woodson, North Central. Anais Bryant, Lawrence North. Israel Jackson, Lawrence North. Tyon Clark, Lawrence Central. Damian Curlin, Pike. Sean Fulton, Ben Davis. And Matthew Rodriguez of Ben Davis. Once again, your boys 200-meter finalists. Reeves-Lyle, Golden, Woodson, Bryant, Jackson, Clark, Curlin, Holton, and Rodriguez.
What's that? Oh, no.
This is the second call for the girls' 100-meter hurdle finals. This is also the first call for the boys' 110-meter hurdle finals.
Attention athletes, we are ready to begin the girls long jump. Girls long jump. If you are competing in the long jump this evening, please report to the long jump pit.
Yeah, needless to say, I don't think the Mick is known for its pole vaulters.
Attention athletes, we are ready to start boys high jump. Boys high jump. If you are competing in the boys high jump this evening, please report to the high jump pit immediately.
Yeah, and I saw where I think the Carmel boys are the #1 ranked track team in the state. North Central boys are the boys.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the finals of the 2022 MIC Track and Field Championship. Interim Superintendent Dr. Larry Young, Principal Troy Inman, and Pike High School would like to welcome you to the George C. Grosskopf Stadium for tonight's championship meet. At this time, in honor of America and out of respect for all who have served our country to defend our freedoms, we ask that you please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. This is the final call.
It is time now for the championship finals here of the MIC Track and Field Meet. Greg Rakestraw along with Kurt Darling with you here on the ISC Sports Network. Here is the order of what we'll be showing you for the remainder of the evening. We will have the hurdles finals, followed by the 100-meter dash finals, girls then boys each. We will have the 1600-meter run, the 400-meter relay. Then it'll be time finals in both the 400-meter dash and the 300-meter hurdles. We'll have the finals of the 800 meters, and then the 200-meter dash, then finally the 3200-meter run, and the 4x400 relay. And we will try to keep you abreast as to what is going on in terms of the field events as well. Kurt, obviously, we've been on the air for about an hour 15 or so for the first 4 or 5 events. Only championship points were scored in the 3200-meter relay, the 4x8. After that, it was all trying to get to this point, these time finals. Early thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Well, so far, Lawrence North, really setting the pace in the early going for the boys' side of obviously North Central on the girls' side in that 3,200-meter relay. But now is when things really start counting. You've done your job to this point here as far as getting to the finals here out of the prelims, and now after the 15-minute break, you're able to kind of regather yourself, and now you really have to kick on the afterburners to get all the points that you can from this point out, because as I said earlier, this conference meet is probably the most team-oriented meet that you will have all season long. Personal best, yes, while great, they are not the priority tonight. Right now, the priority is points. And so any strategy that you can figure out through your race to get as many points as you can for your team will always be something that helps. But sometimes it comes down to just blatant speed, and you're going to be seeing a lot of that here over the next couple of hours.
All right, so again, the girls' 100-meter hurdles, that is the final that you are about to see. 9 qualified from the first 2 heats. North Central has the team lead of the girls. Lawrence North has that honor of the boys from having won the 3,200-meter relay. And we are underway. 9 competitors. Mary Porter's in the middle of the track in lane number 5. It is Ben Davis in lane number 6. Porter trying to catch up. Porter edging in front. It'll be a sprint to the finish. Looks like Ben Davis is going to get it. That's Hogan. Hogan's going to be your winner in the 100-meter hurdles. Mary Porter will finish in second.
Nicely done there by Renee Hogan. We'll check the time here as we get the final times coming in here. 15:75 for Renee Hogan. That's a new season best for her. But she just looks so fluid over the hurdles. Meanwhile, Mary Porter trying to do her best to keep pace here. She's looking a little rugged over the last couple of hurdles, but she's able to lean to get second spot and 8 points for Warren Central. But keep in mind, Mary Porter, she hasn't been taking a break during that 15-minute break. She was competing in the high jump, as you saw, while we were off the mics, but still really good run there by Renee Hogan to set the pace here for Ben Davis.
So now we'll have the finals of the boys 110-meter hurdles. So we'll race the hurdles for just a matter of moments.
Central, Micah Williams. In lane 2 from North Central, Ricky Vu.
Ricky Vu in lane 2 for North Central.
Michael Durham.
Michael Durham is in lane number 3 from Warren Central. Graham West of Ben Davis will be in lane number 4. Danny Royster is in lane number 5, is having the best time from the earlier preliminaries. James Vaden Jr. of LN will be in lane number 6. David Carnell is going to run in lane number 7. Winters will run in lane number 8. And Jeremiah Berry in lane number 9 from Pike.
And so here we go for the 110 high hurdles. And, you know, I get this question asked a lot whenever somebody who's not familiar with track and field is watching a track and field meet for the first time. Why do the men run 10 meters longer than the women? Well, there's actually no technical aspect about it at all. It's actually historical, because back in the early 80s when they were testing out hurdles for the women's side on the international scale, they simply decided, all right, let's just set up hurdles at this length for 100 meters. Let's just have them do that. And that's just been the standard. It has nothing to do with stride. It has nothing to do with scientific or standard or anything like that. It's just simply that's the way it has been throughout the history of the hurdles in international competition. And, of course, it's been adopted here by the IHSAA.
Just a smattering of rain around the area. We see just a handful of drops, and you were saying these are basically perfect conditions for these sprinters.
Absolutely. You always, as a runner, like comfortable conditions, certainly not sweltering hot, but also not freezing cold. So it's cloudy, some light rain maybe here and there, 69 degrees here at Pike High School. Perfect conditions for running and for perfect conditions for some fast times.
The duo from Lawrence North on your screen, Vaden on the left, Royster on the right. They will run in lanes 5 and lane 6. West of Ben Davis is in lane number 4. Royster's best time of the year, 15:29. West had the fastest time of anybody coming into the day at 15:14.
But he was the second qualifier out of his heat, so had a little bit of a shaky start here. Maybe he can try and clean things up here after that little break that we had between the finals, or the prelims and the finals.
Time is in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Clean start. Royster in 5. Vaden in 6. West in 4. Durham in lane 3. Looks like it's going to be LN 1-2. Who's going to win it? Going to be Vaden or Royster? As they sprint to the finish line, I think Royster got him just by a bit of a lead.
And, of course, when they do that, they go by the chest, not by the head, not by the leg. It's by who his chest comes by first. And so that's going to be a photo finish for timing and scoring. And you can see Royster
14.99 for Royster. Vaden running second, 15.00, 1/100th of a second decides between the Lawrence North teammates.
And personal bests on the season for both runners here so far today, but also that's the first time in his career that Royster has gone sub-15, and he does it in dominating fashion right there, and you see two teammates jawing back and forth right there. But bottom line is this, the personal bests are great, but those are 18 points for Lawrence North there.
Saw Coach Mallory on the screen there for Lawrence right before that. I need to give Mike New a heads up. Hey, one of your star defensive recruits just ran a sub-15 110-meter hurdles. And again, Royster, a little thicker than most hurdlers would be, shows you the level of athlete that young man is.
Of course, quite honestly, Mike New, anytime one of his athletes that he's going to be getting, as you see Coach Mallory there, but anytime that he hears one of his athletes is doing well, he's like, hey, that's an athlete that I'm going to be having play and dominating for me next year on the gridiron.
By the way, I know that I can share this. We'll see Danny Royster to some degree on the ISC Sports Network a couple times in the fall. We'll take Query and Schultz to Schumann Stadium at Ball State for a couple of games coming up in September and October. Looking forward to that. Time now for the 100-meter dash final. And obviously in the girls, Ramaya Elliott will be the favorite coming up in this event.
Of course, Ramaya Elliott having dominating performances not just in the 100 but the 200 prelims as well. And so you're definitely looking for a big time out of her. It'll be interesting to see what she does here. Is she going to try and really kick on the afterburners and maybe make a top state time as she does already, improve on it? Or is she simply just going to lay back and maybe hope for the points here? Again, more of a team event here tonight, but it'll be interesting to see the strategy that she enacts here for this 100 meters.
Layla Jewell is her teammate to her left in lane number 4. Ramaya in lane number 5.
Some quick final results here for you from the women's high jump. Mary Porter winning that event with a jump of 5 feet even.
Congratulations to Mary. We saw Mary in the hurdles.
She got second.
Yep.
So she's already scored 18 points by herself for Warren Central here tonight.
So Warren Central in lane number 9 as well as lane number 6. Elsie presented in lane number 1 and lane number 7. Pike in lane number 3, Ben Davis in lane number 2, Lawrence North is in lane number 8. It is Vaden that is lined up directly to the right, the left, as you look at the screen. There you see the flying W on the chest of Vaden wearing the glasses. Or Kearns, excuse me, in lane number 6. Olivia Kearns, her fastest time of 12.66. Layla Jewell of North Central in lane number 4, but the attention will focus on lane number 5 and Ramaya Elliott. False start.
And here we go. So now we get to explain the false start rules. So in IHSAA, the false start is charged to the field. So that means you get one mulligan basically here. Everybody will come back and try again. But the next person who commits a false start, regardless of who it is, will be disqualified. And there you see, you got a little jump. It was lane number 6 here. It looks like that might have been Vaden, who was the guilty party, who just had a slight little flinch, or they may charge it to the Lawrence North runner there. And they are. And so actually, no, she's getting disqualified. So I guess they've changed it since the last time I've been privy to the IHSAA. So a false start and you're gone. One offense and you're out. So disqualified there for this final.
So down to 8 competitors now here in this 100-meter dash final. What does this do to the kind of the nerves of everybody else on the starters block?
Well, it certainly it makes you aware of it. Now, obviously, you're not aware of a false start after the first gun. But once you have that false start happen in the second gun, you're probably going to have people be a little timid coming out of the blocks to make sure that they don't, quote, for lack of a better phrase, jump the gun.
Clean start this time. Again, Elliott in lane number 5. Starting to pull away. Space to be seen. Looks like North Central 1, Warren Central 2, and North Central 3. But Elliott is your winner.
I would be very shocked if this isn't below 12 seconds.
I think she's sub 12. We will show you the replay here. Kurt and I both have our eyeballs towards timing and scoring. Again, Ramaya Elliott, your clear winner. Her final time, 11.73.
That is a new personal best for her. What a run by Ramaya Elliott, 11:73. That is 3/10 off of Lena Irby's state record, who ran at Pike a few years ago. But now she improves upon her state leading time. She is the first athlete all season long to go sub 12 seconds.
Baden, by the way, was second, 12.23. Elliott was nearly half a second faster in winning the 100-meter dash. We'll see her back out for the 200. But again, Elliott's winning time, 11:73. Her best of the year coming into the day was 12:29.
That was blistering, and you could see through that replay she did not turn the afterburners off until she crossed that finish line. She wanted to make a statement here tonight, and she certainly did. And it's hard to believe, with the amount of talent that she has, she was second last year in the MIC Outdoor Championships to Taylor Herbert, who went 11:74 for a winning time last year. So that just goes to show you how much she has improved as an athlete.
So Reeves Lyle is the favorite here in the boys 100, a 10.66. That was his fastest time coming into the day. We showed him warming up a moment ago. Anias Bryant of Lawrence North is in lane number 7. Keyshawn Pipkin is in lane number 8. And Damian Curlin is in lane number 9. Pipkin, another outstanding football player at North Central High School.
And so I'm really interested to see how this will shake out between Reeves Lyle and Jackson. These two competitors faced each other in the MIC Indoor Championships this past indoor season. Jackson was the victor in that regard, but now we're adding, that was only for 60 meters. So we're adding an extra 40 meters to the distance, and we will see how this plays out. It should be a good race.
In their best times of the outdoor season, there was a 0.2 of a second difference in favor of Reeves Lyle. Could be the young man in lane number 5. He has the favorite's choice in terms of lane selection.
And obviously you want to be in one of those middle lanes. It keeps you away from the riffraff outside of the track. It also is just better visually because you're able to just focus on nothing but the track and not have to worry about any obstacles on the outside of the track kind of getting in your way.
By the way, quick update of the team scoring as more of the girls' events have gone final. Lawrence Central currently in first at 43 points. North Central in second at 34. Pike in third with 24 points. Ben Davis, LN, Lawrence Central rounding out your top 6. Again, those are with multiple finals taking place now in terms of the girls' events. Time for the boys' 100-meter final. We'll take a guess as to what the winning time is going to be here, Kurt.
I'm guessing it'll probably be maybe 10-7, 10-6, somewhere in there. They have the wind slightly at their back here, and it is wind legal, so these times will be recognized.
Clean start. Again, Reeves Lyle in lane 5. Elijah Jackson in lane number 6. Those two starting to pull away. Reeves Lyle is going to take this one. Only question is, what's the time going to be? Reeves Lyle of Warren Central is your winner. We'll update you the time we have the opportunity, but the favorite took care of business in the 100-meter final.
It was certainly sub 11 seconds. We'll see how much sub 11 seconds it was, but it was a clean start, a great start there by Reeves Lyle, and you can see Jackson really straining right there near the latter part of that race, so just kind of losing a little bit of control, and Reeves Lyle just looking cool and collected as he goes 10:88.
Correct, so he has run better this year, but his concern was, do I run the best tonight? And he did. Jackson's time, 11:05. Reeves Lyle 1, Jackson 2. Winning the 100-meter final.
And again, like we said, personal bests, although they are great, they are not the priority tonight. Priority is points, and Reeves Lyle did his job. He got some Big Ten points there for Warren Central.
The 1600-meter final comes your way next. Let's take this quick timeout. Back with the metric mile a little bit more when we come back to Pike High School. Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling with you here on the ISC Sports Network. The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score! Ball here. Harris scores.
and an and one.
Now we get to the 1600. You may have seen some of these runners in the 800 earlier as far as the relays are concerned, but several of these runners, this is the first time we will see them in today's event. Those that are scheduled to go to the 1600, Emma Vatsendahl of North Central, Mary Edwards of North Central, Caitlin Schwab of Pike, Bailey Powell of Lawrence North, Sierra Espinoza of Warren Central, Isabella Goolsby of Warren, Lacey Nebariza of Lawrence North, Sogo Bakare of Pike, Alea King of Ben Davis, and Halia Aminu of Ben Davis as well. Vatsendahl of North Central has the best time of 5:16 so far this season. Again, North Central as a team rated number 1 of the state coming in by the Indiana Track and Field Coaches Association.
And of course, it's one of these. It's this event right here where it's really propelled them to that ranking. They have the top 2 times coming into this event. They're likely to keep those top 2 times here since Edwards has a full 10-second difference on the seed times over Pike's Caitlin Schwab. But this is a race where you're really going to see a lot of strategy and a lot of tactics. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of strategy and tactics when it comes to the sprints. You just run as fast as you can and then maybe have a little bit here and there. But here, especially when it comes to a points race, it's a matter of just keeping it with your teammate. And obviously, the North Central girls right here have done that, going 1-2, and will likely stay that way. And it depends on what you're going to see them decide to do, whether they're going to go out and try and go for a personal best or keep with each other and pace each other so that way they can maximize on keeping those positions for points.
Literally, these top 4 runners are almost running by their seed line here in the opening lap. 1 lap down, 3 more laps to go. North Central 1-2, Pike 3, and Lawrence North in spot number 4.
Emma Vatensdahl there up in front for North Central. Ran her personal best at the Flashes Showcase earlier this season. She was 5th last year in the MIC Outdoor Championships before going on to finish 4th in the Marion County Girls Championships. So lots of championship experience for her.
And now, obviously, this MIC meet, without having Carmel and Cinegrove in it, is very much indicative of what you would expect in the Marion County Championships.
It's essentially a Marion County Championship meet minus the city schools. So you're going to have a lot of different competition that you'll be seeing in that meet here in a couple of weeks.
Off the top of my head, from my knowledge of the Marion County basketball tournament, I think there are 11 4A schools of the 16, and obviously 6 of them are here in this meet. So you would not have these schools on the south side of town, the larger ones, in terms of Franklin Central, Southport, Prairie, Decatur Central.
Yes,
but you get the general idea.
Exactly, and and that's the nature of the beast here when it comes to track and field. A lot of these competitors face each other several times during a regular season, and so believe it or not, it actually develops not only a sense of competition and knowledge amongst your competitors, but also a sense of community as well. I mean, myself as a pole vaulter, we all knew each other a lot when it came to when we were competing as we go into the final 2 laps here of the 1600 meters, but it's always a really good atmosphere.
So depending on how the pace would translate from the first 800 to the second 800, literally almost exactly on time at that 5:16, maybe a second or 2 off, but you are now seeing a gap of, again, 20 to 25 meters, seemingly of 8 to 10 seconds from spot 1 to spot 2. Again, North Central 1-2, Pike right behind in 3. A little bit more cushion out back to Lawrence North, the runner that's currently in 4th place.
And so Mary Edwards just kind of sticking to her pace right now, opting not to stick with the pace that her teammate Vatensdahl has out in front. You also have Schwab sticking right there with Edwards. And she's just content to just kind of sit and let Edwards be the pacemaker in this particular battle right here. And so Schwab can try to steal a couple of points here in the latter half of this race by just kind of sticking there and waiting to make her move.
By the way, let's update the boys scoreboard right now from a team standpoint. Warren Central 1, Lawrence North 2, LC tied for second, 21 points, 19 points, 19 points. Nothing decided yet on the boys' side of the ledger. Bell's about to be rung here for North Central again. There is little doubt the Panthers are going to win. The battle right now, though, is for second in this race between North Central and Pike. That is Caitlin Schwab of Pike High School that is pushing the tempo.
Certainly doing really well right there is Vatensdahl. And now you see Edwards kind of starting to pull out away a little bit from Schwab a little bit here as she's going to try and pick up the pace here. It's the final lap of the race, and obviously you can see Vatnsdal. She knows she has the race in hand, so she's probably going to try and kick it into gear just a little bit, but she doesn't have to expend too much.
I was going to say, do you try to kick it up to put another time out there for other competitors later in the year, or do you say, you know what, time to conserve for the next meet? I know I've got this one in the rearview mirror.
Well, it depends on what the coach tells you to do. Obviously, you do what the coach tells you to do, but at the same time, putting out a really good time like Vatnsdal is going to do here is certainly never a bad thing, and it can show you, hey, I'm here, and this is why I'm running for the best team in the state right now.
Look at Greg Regstraw, Kurt Darling with me. Kurt ran track and field at Brownsburg High School, was a decathlete at Indiana State University. Thank you for his time and expertise tonight. Now the question is going to be, are you going to beat your season best time? It's
going to be close.
Going to be close. That season best time is 5:16.
And not quite.
Yeah, a couple of seconds back. But as expected, North Central will finish 1 and 2. And again, for Emma Vatnsdal, that was a tremendous, just very consistent race.
Textbook.
She ran her race the entire time.
Textbook. That's just the way to describe that right there. She was consistent. She was running maybe consistent 70 to 75 second splits over the entirety of that race right there, and it was just a perfect race by her part, getting the points as well, and also Mary Edwards doing a good job of just running her pace, keeping Schwab behind her, and Schwab getting that third place spot there for Pike.
Let's credit Lacey Nebariza, who finishes in 5th for Lawrence North. She improved her best time of the year by about 15 seconds. Job well done. You see Lacey gave everything she had as she is stretched out on the track as we speak, but job well done by all of these competitors that are finishing the girls' 1,600-meter race. We'll take this quick time out. When we come back, the boys' 1,600 as you're watching the MIC Track and Field Championships here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And, of course, we do the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program every Monday on ISC Sports Network. Derek, it airs at what time?
7:30.
Okay, every Monday at 7:30. We're now on season number 2, and if history tells us anything, catch us now because you never know when they pull the plug on it.
Why would you say that?
Because it's happened
That's not
before.
going to happen here. Comcast, Xfinity 81, ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so many places to watch Query and Schultz, 7:30 on Monday.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
A great look at the facilities at Pike High School. That is our view from atop George C. Grosskopf Stadium. Many people may not know that the first 2 years of Marion University football, this was the home facility for the Knights in 2007 and 2008. You're looking back towards the entrance. That is for the Ed Siegel Gymnasium. The auditorium is off to the left. We're looking at baseball, softball fields, and, of course, football and track and field taking place right here. The boys' 600-meter final about to get started. Let's bring you the competitors. Grant Coburn of Warren Central has the best time of this group. Number 1 seed, 4:31. Adam Cheney of Lawrence Central, just below 4:34. Nick Ostendorf, part of the 800-meter, 4x800-meter relay winning team of Lawrence North, is third fastest. Hayden Monk of North Central, Victor Alex Cuevas, and Finn Doyle of Ben Davis. Spencer Harshbarger of Lawrence North, Malachi Gornick of Pike, Ludwig Kelly of Warren Central, Henry DeRique of North Central, and Elijah Gornick of Pike, the 11 competitors in this 600-meter final.
So the 1,600 meters, or the mile, that is more commonly referred to in the track and field mantra, is both speed and distance.
They get an Aaron Coffer there on the left-hand side. You're going to make sure you didn't leave him out. 12 going to the stripe here in the 1,600.
But speed and distance is this race, and the reason why I make that point is because Hayden Monk of North Central, he is the top-seeded runner in the 3,200 meters, which is going to be coming up a little bit later on. Now, the 3,200 meters is a pure distance race. Now, the 1,600 meters on the international scale is actually considered middle distance. So it's both speed and distance training as well. So obviously you're going to be seeing a lot from Grant Coburn of Warren Central tonight, but I'm interested to see how Hayden Monk will be able to factor in here and maybe move up that seeding chart since he's only seeded 5th in this race.
It's a little separation so far of these 12 competitors. Kind of strung out nose to tail at this point. Coburn of Warren Central in the all gold. Adam Cheney of LC in the gray to his left.
Adam Cheney was 9th place at the Mick Outdoor in 2021, and he has a personal best mile of 4:35 this season.
All right, let's talk strategy. Clearly, Coburn took some of it because he after kind of going to the right, it's like, nope, I'm gonna tuck back into the kind of the jet stream, gonna draft for a little bit here. Walk me through that thought process.
Well, believe it or not, it's like people who watch NASCAR, they understand what the draft is. It's where you get in behind a car and you generate speed as well as save energy. The same thing applies here in track and field. Now, you saw what he did right there. When you're going around that curve, you are going into a headwind, and so he tucked in right behind Grant, had Grant take all of that wind and thus breaking the air for him. You save energy, and thus you're able to bank energy for the final kick later on in the race.
By the way, it's Malachi Gornick of Pike making the charge, wearing the number 8 on his left shoulder. That was his seed coming into the event. But it's the 1 and 2 seeds. Pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of living up to their reputation. Again, we are less than halfway through this 1,600-meter race.
And now you see Coburn having enough of the pace. He's going to try and pick it up a little bit. And slotting in right behind there is Ostendorf, who ran the 4x8 earlier in this race.
You referenced Hayden Monk. There he is on the charge. So Monk going to take off now, and Monk will take the lead at the halfway point. He came in as the 4th seed of this event. His best time in the 1,600, 7 seconds slower than Coburn coming in.
But again, he also goes sub 10 minutes in the 3,200 meters. So he's able to not only put 1 sub 5-minute mile together, but 2 back-to-back. And so with that kind of stamina, you're certainly able to make things work, and he's going to try and push the pace right here. And this is kind of a chess match right here. You push the pace a little bit, just force your opponent to expend more energy, and then you're able to play some cat and mouse later on.
Coburn is responding. Nick Ostendorf is staying up as well. Seeing Cheney really drop back. He's kind of separated himself. And again, Malachi Gornick of Pike, the 8th seed, trying just to stay in touch with that top 3 and starting to break away here again between Monk, Ostendorf, and Coburn.
Certainly a great effort there by Gornick there. He was the 8th seeded overall here, and he can probably try and hold that pace as we come towards the bell lap. But you have 3 competitors here who are both have a lot of speed in their arsenal. It's just going to be who has the most at the end.
The pace is basically about a 1:09 pace per lap. Again, Coburn has gone below that this year. If that pace continues, Ostendorf and Monk would run their best in the 1,600.
69-second splits are certainly very competitive, so all 3 of these competitors are pushing each other really, really hard now. So strategy's out the window now. It's basically a drag race here through the last 200 meters.
And Coburn is kicking in, and Monk is trying to match him. That's Ostendorf, excuse me. It is Ostendorf 1, Monk 2, and Coburn in 3. He'll be trying to save something for that last 100 meters.
Well, and here's the speed factor. Ostendorf is an 800-meter specialist. You put him in the mile, bank some of that energy, and he's finally using it here for the final sprint.
And this would be huge for Lawrence North in terms of the boys' team title. They are right now the number 1 spot, and Ostendorf kicking in. He is going to win the 1,600. It looks like Coburn will finish 2nd. Monk will finish 3rd. Ostendorf finishes at just past 4:27. Ostendorf 10 seconds better than his best time of the season.
New personal best for Ostendorf on his career. That is certainly excellent for him, but that's excellent for Lawrence North as well. They take away what would have been 2 extra points for Warren Central. Those go now to Lawrence North, and they keep the overall lead in the men's point standings here throughout the scoring so far.
And there is a chance for some potential points is the reason why this is still being contested towards the end. For Pike, good charge the finish by one of the Gornicks to wrap up the 1,600. Let's take this quick time out. When we come back, we'll have the 400-meter relay finals, girls then boys. That comes your way next as you're watching the Mick Track and Field Championships from Pike High School, right here on the ISC Sports Network.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Austin makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler!
Whoa!
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa, my goodness.
122.60 for Penn.
What a swim! Six of them.
Let's thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew, Jordan Shue, Alan Hughes. Thank you to Eric Kinnett, Rob Lynch, and their tremendous ISC Sports Network group, all working tonight's track and field championship. Thank you to Kendra and the good folks at Pike High School, Dave Paddock and the rest for having us out tonight. All of the wonderful ADs in the Metropolitan Interscholastic Conference. Our first time of bringing this meet to you on the ISC Sports Network. Absolutely thrilled to be here. It is time now for the 4x100 meter relay. Again, girls then boys do up first. And again, not surprisingly, North Central, fastest of the four groups. In fact, they are more than a second faster than any of the other best times we have seen so far this year.
Well, of course, when you have an athlete like Ramaya Elliott in your arsenal, you're certainly going to have that extra second advantage. And so it'll be interesting how they stack up the lineup here. Now, she's listed as the first competitor on the relay team, so it depends on if she's actually going to be running this race, but still, they have her listed as first, so she might be the first one out of the blocks, which would certainly be a change because usually you have your fastest competitor as the anchor leg coming down here for the final 100 meters.
So teams still getting in place. While we have this opportunity, let's update you on the team standings because, again, there are events that we're showing you all the sprint events and distance events. We've shown you some bits and pieces of high jump and long jump and shot and discus. On the girls' side, North Central currently 1 in the team standings. Warren Central 2, then a bit of a gap to Pike in third. On the boys' side, LN has created some space. They're currently first by 11 points over Warren Central, and then 15 points back to Lawrence Central at that point in time.
So now you see how these competitors are all lined up. It's 4 competitors, a 4x100 meter relay. Now they have these little arrows here. That's just kind of a reference point for them to have a start. You can see how they have these chalk marks here as well that they can use for reference. But when you look at the actual track surface itself, you'll see the yellow arrows. Now they have to stay in between those large yellow arrows known as the exchange zones. That is where they can legally exchange the baton. If they do it outside of that exchange zone area, they will be disqualified.
How often, how much time do you spend at a given practicing your exchanges if you're part of a relay?
Oh, you have designated time slots for your competitors. As you see the exchange zone relay, exchange zone arrows there, they have to stay in between those. But you can see you'll dedicate a whole block of time, a half hour, maybe even an hour, just going back and forth all over the track, just practicing and working on your exchanges.
Next month, that means there's one more lap to go.
Yes, that is correct.
What does that mean?
The month of May, one more lap to go at the Indianapolis 500. Certainly excited for that as well.
All right, so again, 4x100, girls first, followed by the boys. People getting lined up. Got to make sure we clear the track as well.
And you'll also see these competitors doing blind exchanges, meaning that they will not be looking back for the baton. They will be sticking their hand out blindly, and it'll be the job of the previous competitor to put the baton in their next teammate's hand, and then they have to feel it and grab it.
Following this event, we'll have the 400-meter dash final, the 300-meter hurdles final, the 800-meter run, the 200-meter run, the 3,200, and then the 4x400 will close out the night's events here at Pike High School.
And also another quick note, if people are curious about the rules of this particular event. Obviously, you have to exchange the baton within your exchange zone. But if you drop the baton and it stays in your lane within the exchange zone, you can legally pick it up and continue on with the race. But if the baton goes out of the lane, regardless if it's in the exchange zone or outside of the exchange zone, that's an automatic disqualification.
See those that are getting ready to start.
That's Megan Barnum there for Lawrence North, going to be leading off for the Wildcats. And so it doesn't appear to be Ramaya Elliott that's going to be leading off here for North Central. That might be Leela Jewell, who'll be coming out of the blocks here for the Panthers.
You get the luxury of the starters blocks here to begin this 4x100. North Central in lane number 5. LN lane 3, Ben Davis lane 4. North Central lane 5, Pike in lane 6. Lawrence Central lane 7, and Warren Central in lane number 8. North Central's top time this year, 48.5. Next closest time belongs to Pike, 49.77. Other 5 schools almost identical, within a second of each other in terms of their time. Again, North Central, a second and 27 hundredths faster than anybody else of this group.
One of the few teams to go sub 49 so far this year.
Runners ready. And we're underway in the 4x100 meter relay. Obviously, we'll see things start to flatten out as the runners make the turn. In terms of the first handoff.
And so they'll hand off to Ramaya Elliott going down the back straight here.
North Central and Warren Central made those handoffs virtually simultaneously.
North Central made up the stagger through that first one.
North Central has made a successful handoff. No problems on the exchanges so far. Again, North Central, Ben Davis to the right. In terms of making the turns, and off to the races goes North Central. Flying down the straightaway. Ben Davis, a chance to potentially catch here. This is not a done deal for North Central. Panthers trying to hang on. Ben Davis in second. Fight for third. It will be Lawrence North by just a hair that hangs on to third. North Central gets the job done and wins in the 4x100 meter relay.
That's a big performance for Ben Davis right there. They certainly made it tough for North Central. Clean start here for North Central as you see them make up the stagger through the first exchange, which is already a win in and of itself. But Ben Davis just did a good job of just sticking right there on the tail of North Central, making up a little bit of ground here going through the back straight. Excellent handoffs all the way around. Didn't see any exchange woes or any difficulty here. Excellent, of course, just a little bit of a run-up there through the third exchange for North Central, and then an excellent exchange by Ben Davis, and you can actually gain some time through those exchanges. It's almost like a pit stop for in auto racing, but still great exchanges through the end, and Ben Davis really pouring it on here, and that's actually Ben Davis. They were seated third coming into this. They move up into that second spot, so that's 2 extra points that they pick up that they probably weren't slated to get when you score out the meet before the meet starts.
Yeah, Lawrence North was the 5th seed, and they end up finishing third in this 4x100. So again, good results for both Ben Davis as well as Lawrence North. And now we're starting to see the boys 4x100 teams get into position. Lane number 3, Ben Davis. Lane number 4, Lawrence North. Lane number 5 will be Warren Central. Lane number 6, North Central. Lane 7 will be Lawrence Central. And Pike in lane number 8.
And there you see Ezra Baker of Warren Central setting up for the anchor leg. You're going to have Vermont Johnson and Jalen Reeves-Lyle for the first 2 legs here for Warren Central.
And by the way, Warren Central seated first, but only 0.5 of a second faster than North Central. The entire field is encompassed in a second and a half. So this may be as balanced of a race as we see the entire night. this 4x100 meter relay.
You will see a lot of parity here in this race, but it's also, again, it just shows you how you have different strategies here. You have Warren Central going with their best 100-meter runner in Jalen Reeves-Lyle on their second leg, which is actually a strategy that Jamaica usually uses when they're running international competition. You always either saw Usain Bolt running the second leg or the anchor leg for the Jamaican national team. Then you have North Central going with Christian Woodson for their final leg, certainly an interesting take there, but also Lawrence Central, Elijah Jackson. He is going to be running the anchor leg as well. So it just shows you the different strategies that you see employed.
Wait, I want to the shot we just showed you was Bryant and Reeves-Lyle right next to each other in terms of, hey, if you're going to run your best guy second, we're going to run our best guy second and try to match you. At least that's maybe the process of Lawrence North and Lawrence
Exactly.
Central.
You have Bryant there going for Lawrence North. Again, you see both competitors, and you see the difference in how they set up for their exchanges. You have Lyles just Lyle a little bit back a little bit, and then Bryant just a little bit forward, depending on how they shape out. But it's always interesting to see in the 4x1 how you have the coaches' decisions and how they line up their competitors to try and get a little bit of an edge.
Update you on the team standings on the boys' side. Lawrence North 149 points, Warren Central 238 points, and a gap to Lawrence Central. On the girls' side of the ledger, Warren Central right now number 1 at 66 points, North Central at 62. Pike then a little further back in third place at 44.
So Warren Central putting a little pressure on North Central through the scoring so far, but there's still plenty of events left to go.
On this chilly night, you see a lot of the competitors are trying to leave the sweats on as long as possible.
Of course, I mentioned earlier about how this is technically perfect conditions for running tonight, but it's starting to cool down a little bit here as the sun starts to set. Not to mention you have a bunch of overcast skies and some spotty rain showers just a little bit here and there. We haven't been plagued too much by the rain tonight, but you definitely want to keep the sweats on and stay warm as long as you possibly can. Of course, you can't run in sweats. Of course, that's some interesting sweat attire right there for the Ben Davis runner.
Is there a thought process of the guys that used to run on the 100? You want them running second or fourth because they are so used to running in a straight line?
Typically, yes, because now more often than not, you see the best 100-meter dash runner for any given team on the anchor leg. But sometimes you'll see them running the second leg because you come off of running the curve, you're getting into the race, but then you really are able to establish some separation in the second half of the race and then maybe cruise and hang on to that momentum through the final one. But sometimes you're able to keep that last cannonball in the gun the last 100 meters with your best competitor. So it's literally just comes down to what coach's choice and how you want to stack it up. But sometimes both strategies have been successful depending on how they're implemented.
And the individual 400s will follow this event. There will be 2 different heats, but that is just you run it one time once you get to that level. First things first, we have another championship to decide. Here in the 4x1.
Again, 10 points go to the winner. Valuable 10 points.
And we have referenced the girls' kind of state rankings coming in. Quick check of the boys. Warren Central 5th, Lawrence North 9th. That's team state rankings. 4x100 is underway. And we'll show you the progress once the handoffs get made. First handoff exchanged. North Central. Warren Central almost identical. Lawrence North the handoff as well. Warren has made up the gap on North Central. Now in the handoffs, Warren has the exchange. And again, a lot of similarities here. Warren Central an early lead. Let's see, can they hang on to it? First exchange goes to Warren Central. North Central trying to catch up. That is Woodson flying down the front straightaway. Can he catch the young man from Warren Central? Going to be close. North Central's got it. That is North Central with Christian Woodson. And again, North Central came in just 0.05 of a second slower than Warren. Best versus best. The Panthers of North Central win the 4x100.
So based on the seeding times, that's an upset right there for North Central. Big 10 points for them. Clean start right down to the first leg. It's very even. North Central making up a little bit of a stagger early on. But now Lawrence North, they were in this, but it was kind of an iffy exchange and slow, and you can see the time it cost them. Meanwhile, an excellent second leg run by Jalen Reeves-Lyle for Warren Central. But again, a shaky exchange just gave North Central a little bit of room to just stay with them and then set up an excellent anchor leg here for Woodson.
So Woodson with the lead. Again, their best time coming in was a flat 43. Their winning time in this event, 42.77. So they deliver their best time of the year to win the boys 4x100. The individual 400 heats come your way next as you're watching the Mick Track and Field Championships right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Hello. Did it again.
Hello.
Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello. There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Has it, leaps the man, still on his feet. Stevens lunges.
Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marion County.
Unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Living up to that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. Said that was going to be a highlight reel.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Now, in that last event, there may have been an exchange issue. So let's kind of walk me through what you may have seen there.
So basically now what you see these flags that these officials are holding here. Now, if they hold up the yellow flag, that means that they're going to be indicating the timing and scoring, hey, we're going to let the race finish, but I have a violation that I need to report. And so we'll see what they charge here, but that usually means an exchange zone violation. So we're going to have a replay of this here as we go into the second exchange. Now, we only have a few teams here, but it looks like those were all clean right there. It may have been an exchange on the inside lanes because those all appear to be within the exchange zone.
By the way, that is Chris Curry, the official that you are seeing on the screen. Chris, like so many other IHSA officials, football, basketball, and track and field. And Chris does some work with the Indianapolis Colts during the course of the football season as well. Good to see Chris out at today's event.
Certainly, and of course, you talk about multi-sport athletes, multi-sport referees.
Without doubt.
But of course, we have an extra level of appreciation for people like him, especially in today's atmosphere when there's a referee shortage. Sometimes referees are not the most well-liked people when it comes to parents supporting their kids, but still, it's always really excellent to see the job that the officials do to volunteer their time, come out here, make a little bit extra money.
Taking a look here, Kurt, and see if we can determine maybe where that infraction took place.
Okay, so might be on the inside lanes here. We'll see. It might be Lawrence North or Ben Davis because you see Ben Davis going a little wide there, a little trip for Lawrence North. That's clean. That's clean. I'm not seeing any blatant violation. And we just heard the North Central boys coach being summoned to the timing tent. And after an exchange zone violation was talked to, oh, there it is. Dropped baton. And you have Lawrence Central.
Yeah.
So that might have been it right there. So Lawrence Central dropped their baton. Now they could have kept going, but the anchor leg kept running. Just kind of an interesting chain of events right there. So it might be an exchange zone violation or a drop baton disqualification for Lawrence Central.
That has caused a bit of a delay before we get to our first heat of the 400. And again, let's talk a little bit about this. A little bit different. When you have the sprint events, the hurdles, you will balance the number of runners that are in the heat. However, in this scenario where you're going to run one time, you got 2 different heats, you do tend to seed them. And so the top 9 times in terms of the girls 400 will all be in the next heat. These 3 young ladies, Taylor Johnson, Emma Decker, and Taskiana Andrew, running here again, but the likely winner of the 400 would come in the next heat. By the way, Gia Clay of Pike has run under a minute in the 400 coming up in the next heat, not this one.
And, of course, you have a whole bunch of other competitors as well for Pike that certainly are able to do that, but they have Gia Clay knowing that they can bank that as well. And as you said, we'll have this first heat right here. And so essentially you are running against your competitors, but you're really running against the clock when you have time finals here. Your goal is to have the best time you can possibly put down as compared to the rest of the times.
Best time for Johnson of Pike, 107.14. Best time for Decker of Lawrence North, 105.93. Best time for Andrew of Lawrence Central, 108.45.
And so you'll come out of the blocks here, and again, you stay in your lane all the way around the track, which can be a little daunting if you're a competitor in the 400 meters, but it's actually a little bit better because you don't have, if you're on the inside lanes, you have to turn a lot more, but also they stagger it out, so everybody is still running the same 400 meters regardless of where you are in each lane.
So it is Lawrence North, number 1 in this heat.
Here you have Emma Decker kind of tightening up a little bit here, and
young lady from Ben Davis will pass her towards the end. And again, this is a potential team point. You pay points down to the number 8 position.
And so there is a possibility that her time here could be faster than some of the slower times in the next heat. So there are still points implications here, regardless of it being the B final, if you're putting it in swimming terms.
We did not have a young lady from Ben Davis scheduled to run in that heat, but clearly you see that she won. So sometimes contestants tend to move around a little bit in terms of the potential Heat 1 and Heat 2.
That might have been Danielle Williams, who was slated to be the 9th runner
Correct.
In the championship heat, but they may have slotted her down so they could only have 8 competitors in the A final. And so now here are your championship competitors here, but one thing here, Greg, is the absence of one athlete, Ramaya Elliott, who actually has the top time in the 400 this year in the state, but they have opted her not to run her in the 400 meters here this evening.
When she gets to the state finals, and clearly she'll be in the state finals, how many events do you think she will be in Bloomington June 3rd and June 4th?
5.
Okay. And those events would be?
The 100, the 200, the 400, the 4x1, and the 4x400 meter relay. I have no doubt in my mind that she will be running in all 5 of those events. In one day, mind you. Of course, Pike's Lena Irby from a few years ago was the last athlete in recent memory that we could probably mention that accomplished that same feat, running in all 5 of those events at the state finals, winning state championships in 3 of them, in the 100, 200, and the 400 for 4 straight years from when she was a freshman to a senior, which was certainly something historic to say the least.
By the way, let's update you. Lawrence North leading the boys division by 7 points over Warren Central. Then a sizable gap to Ben Davis in 3rd. On the girls' side, Warren Central maintains a 4-point lead on North Central, and then 18 points to Pike, currently in 3rd.
Certainly interesting to see how the points are shaking out here. Lawrence North was the points favorite based on the seeding times on the boys' side when you score it out before the meet starts, and so they're holding the lead at the moment. But still, Warren Central holding that 4-point lead over North Central in the girls, but that's likely to change as the rest of the events kind of shake out here.
Again, Gia Clay, the favorite of this one. Her best time is more than a second better than the next closest competitor in this event.
Gia Clay, 2 wins already this year and a runner-up finish, so she hasn't finished lesser than second all season long. And she did not advance out of the Ben Davis Regional a year ago, despite the fact that she did a sub-60-second 400 in the sectionals. That Ben Davis sectional is certainly tough to get out of in the postseason.
So competitors getting ready. See Warren Central in lane number 1.
And that's likely J.C. Merchant.
Well, if that is her, she too is a 3-sport athlete. 2 of those in the same year. She's a soccer player, going to play Division I soccer at Milwaukee. She was the place kicker for the football team this year at Warren Central. And she's also an aspiring broadcaster for Warren Central High School. But again, she's going to play Division I soccer in the Horizon League at what used to be known as Wisconsin-Milwaukee. These days, they simply go by Milwaukee. We had a football game this year between Warren Central and Ben Davis where she made all 8 extra points in Warren Central's 57-56 win against Ben Davis.
Hey, those extra points, based on that slim margin, kind of were quite important.
I think there was 1 2-point conversion. She made 7. My bad. There's 1 2-point conversion in there that helped deliver the victory. And again, sometimes lane assignments tend to change after we get the sheets sent to us earlier in the day.
So Gia Clay, the only sub-60-second runner here in this group.
Runners ready. We're underway. Clean start in the 400-meter final again. There are 3 times to take into consideration from the first heat, but the winner and likely top competitors will come from this group.
So far, a nice curve there by Gia Clay to get out already, making up the stagger on her teammate. But now a nice run there by Kasira Simmons, who is a competitive 400 runner, and she has the lead now going into the final turn.
Yeah, Simmons has the second best time of this group coming into tonight's action.
And Gia Clay is way off the pace here.
That is Simmons in lane number 4. And Simmons has all kind of time. Ben Davis is going to get a win. Now the battle is going to be who is going to finish in second. Clay sprinting forward. She will finish in second. And that time for Simmons, the 58-second range.
That's going to be a huge improvement for her.
58.18.
That is a new personal best for her. Her personal best was last year when she ran 58.93. So she's able to really improve upon that. Excellently done there. 7th place last year at the IHSAA State Finals.
Put it in perspective, Clay's run tonight was only a couple of tenths of a second slower than her best of the season coming in at 59.26. But it's Simmons of Ben Davis that wins the girls 400-meter final. Congratulations to her and to the Ben Davis Giants. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back with the boys 400-meter time finals. After this, as you're watching here on the ISC Sports Network.
3, 2, 1.
Has the first dunk in the building from Orange. Joya waits. Waddell finishes.
And lays it in.
There is right now the
Nice
play of the game.
move. Better finish. We might see that on plays of the week. Great feed. The finish. Spin. Win. 3. Bury it in the lane. No. Gun. Yes. Stop. Whoa. What a play. Flying in.
Let's see. They were slated to...
Back here at Pike High School, 400-meter girls final is complete. And Kasira Simmons of Ben Davis 1, Gia Clay 2, Janae Bailey of North Central 3.
So Ben Davis making up some points there with that win for Simmons. And still Gia Clay able to salvage 8 points, but a nice run there by Janae Bailey of North Central getting 3rd place. Right where she was seated to finish to get 6 points there for North Central.
So now it is time for the boys 400-meter. And again, we'll have 3 competitors slated to run in this heat. Ajalon Reese, Antonio Watson, Kyle Irvin. Again, that is always subject to change, but Right now I see one, maybe two competitors that will take to the track for this heat. With the favorites coming up in heat number 2.
And again, it's just a matter of how many competitors are entered here. So you have a couple of scratches, obviously, as it looks like it's going to be maybe Myers and DeLosa in lanes 5 and 6 here.
So representing Pike, Antonio Watson in lane 5. If that's the runner from Lawrence Central, that would be Irvin in lane 6.
And he doesn't have a time to talk about here this season. So if that holds true, this will be the first time we see him running a 400 this season.
It's almost a two-man match race here in this first heat of 2.
Sometimes you have those.
You'll see the full 9 competitors in the upcoming heat that will follow.
And just to put it in perspective, the state record set back a while back by David Neville, who ended up being the bronze medalist at the Beijing Olympic Games from Merrillville, 46.99, which he ran at the state championships at IU.
Yeah, Troy Golden in the next heat. A full second and a half faster than anybody else that is in heat number 2.
Personal best this season of 49 and some change.
Yeah, we saw Troy in the 200 in the trials a few minutes ago. Runners to their blocks. And we're off and running. Here are the first of 2 time finals of the 400-meter dash.
So far, a good start there by Irvin to get out of the blocks. Now, when you run a 400-meter race, based on how I would do it anyway, I would always get out of the blocks really, really quick and then stride out the back straight just to kind of bank some energy a little bit and then set up for the final home, which you would probably start building up into your final sprint at about 150 meters here.
And the timing and scoring on your screen. And these 2 young men is trying to see if they get that top 8 to give their team some valuable points towards a big championship.
So this is going to be a good time here for Irvin.
Irvin driving through the finish line.
And he just did that in 52 seconds.
Which if again, people's times hold up, put about 5th or 6th of the next group.
Yeah, so again, that just goes to show you how even though you have the quote-unquote slower final, that doesn't mean that those athletes won't be scoring.
Watson of Pike comes in second of this one. Blake Rourke and Lake 1 of Lawrence North. Matt Novak of Lawrence Central Lane 2.
So 52:44 the official time there for Kyle Irvin.
Josh Merriweather of North Central in Lane 3. Brian Stevens has been in a number of the pole vault and long jump, high jump events for Lawrence Central Lane 4.
And Brian Stevens is certainly an interesting athlete to watch. Obviously, he's a state qualifying high jumper last season, but has shown to be a utility runner when it comes to the 4x400 meter relay whenever that he has been called upon. Well, now he's being called upon to run the straight up 400 meters. And so far, he has a personal best time of 50.95 on his career. So he is certainly able to be competitive whenever it's just a flat 400.
Brian Stevens, football player at Warren Central as well. Rafe Miller, Ben Davis, and Marion Sanders of Warren Central. Mark White of Ben Davis. I think there has been a change in lane 9. So we'll keep our ear to the public address announcer to make sure we reflect who that will be in lane number 9 here to round out this 400-meter group.
So Josh Merriweather, built more like an 800 runner here, but certainly competitive in the 400. And looks like you got your eyes on Corin Mason there on the outside for North Central.
Results being shared here at Roscoff Stadium for previous events.
And so now you see as Corin Mason sets up on the outside lane there, these runners, they have the option of going starting from either the blocks or a standing start, depending on what they want to do. Now, obviously you get more explosiveness and quick out of the gate when it comes to the blocks, but that's really the only quick advantage you have. Now, if you're able to just keep the carrying speed from a standing start, you can still carry a lot of momentum on the outside lane.
Next event after this, it'll be the 300-meter hurdles. We will do that in 2 different heats.
So there's a look at Brian Stevens in lane number 4. And you have Troy Golden right there. Best time in the state this year is by Plainfield's Nair Newash Campbell, who's gone 48.61 so far this season.
By the way, Plainfield #1 ranked in the state as a team this week in the High School Track and Field Coaches Association polls.
Of course, Plainfield out of Conference Indiana, where Pike High School used to be for a number of years before joining the MIC. So the athletes getting their final practice starts here, and then off come the warm-ups and into the cold.
And Novak in lane number 2 of Lawrence Central.
Best time this season, 53.53. 53 is all around for him so far this year.
Time to beat for the first final. Just north of 52 seconds. Of this group, 4 have gone better than that so far on the year.
It's starting to spit some rain here again, and the wind is a little bit gustier than what it was here about an hour ago. So you're going to be running right into a headwind going through this first turn, as you see the flag going right from east to west there. So it'll only be a momentary headwind for these competitors going through that first turn.
Runners ready. And Roark elected to go without the blocks in lane 1. And we're underway.
And a good start on the outside there by Mark White of Ben Davis, already making up the stagger on the outside competitor in Corin.
Yeah, White off to a flyer out in lane number 8. Now the runners in the middle lane starting to catch up with White along the back stretch.
And that's Golden.
Yeah, Golden in lane number 5. Miller in lane number 6. Or Central and Ben Davis. Or excuse me, Pike and Ben Davis going 1 and 2. It is Golden that has the lead coming down the front straight. But Miller couldn't keep up with him. It's going to be Golden. Now it's simply a matter of looking at the clock. How much does he have left in terms of getting to the finish line? Looks like it will be sub 50. His best of the year was 49.02. I don't know if he beat that, but clearly hit enough to win the 400 here in the MIC. At his final time, 49.51.
Respectable race there by Troy Golden. He got the points. He stays sub 50, so he just shows how competitive he can be. And Rife Miller better be careful there because he was running right on the lane. Now, if you run too much over into your competitor's lane and take too many steps, you might get disqualified. And again, that's valuable points right there that you want to be wary of if you're Ben Davis.
Troy Golden takes spot number 1. Rafe Miller finishes in spot number 2. Again, that was kind of along to the seeding. Finishing in third was Amarion Sanders of Warren Central. And his time, his best of the year at 50.99. Brian Stevens of Warren Central finishes in 4th.
So Amarion Stevens bumping up a spot from the seeding.
So with that, we'll take a quick timeout. Next up, the 300-meter hurdles. That comes your way next as you're watching the MIC Track and Field Championships right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. Oh! That's the finish. taken. And an and one. Fly ball. Out of here.
Hi, I'm Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And, of course, we do the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program every Monday on ISC Sports Network. Derek, it airs at what time?
7:30.
Okay, every Monday at 7:30. We're now on season number 2, and if history tells us anything, catch us now because you never know when they pull the plug on it.
Why would you say that?
Because it's happened
That's not going
before.
to happen here. Comcast, Xfinity 81, ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so many places to watch Query and Schultz, 7:30 on Monday.
Let's bring you some of the finals now from elsewhere in terms of the track and field meet. Let's go to the boys' long jump. We have sung the praises, understandably so, of Danny Royster. Well, let's talk about another three-sport athlete from Lawrence North. Omar Cooper is the winner in the long jump against the soon-to-be Indiana Hoosier wide receiver for Time Allen's football team. He won by a foot. 22-1 was his best jump today. David Fair of Ben Davis finishes second. Rex Cade of Lawrence North in third. Amarion Sanders, Joseph Jefferson rounding out the top five. Again, top 8 competitors all score points for their teams in the boys' long jump final. The girls' pole vault was won by Carly Merchant of Warren Central. Her final height was 8 feet. Mary Porter was the winner, as Kurt alluded to earlier, for Warren Central of the high jump. 5 foot for Mary. Janae Bailey of North Central finishes second. Mariah Minor finishes third from Pike High School. We'll update you on more of those results as they become available to us.
There you see the rain falling there in the backdrop of this meet. Just very light rain here. It's nothing too substantial, but just enough to get everything a little wet.
The strategy of the 300 hurdles. Walk us through it.
Well, it's just a 300-meter race, so you stagger from right across the way from the start-finish line, and you know, in the 100 hurdles and the 110 hurdles, it's a lot about cadence. Well, here, it's a little bit more of a foot race with just an obstacle. It's almost like a very short steeplechase minus, touching the barrier in the water pit, of course. But all you have to do is just keep a good stride and just time up your stride well enough to just fly over the hurdles and make sure you just keep that nice flowing cadence and make sure that you can just keep that forward momentum and try not to leap over the hurdles, which many tend to do here, especially over the last couple of stages of hurdles here through the final 100 meters.
3 competitors in this heat, 9 in the second. 2 left to go out of the blocks. 1 elects to go standing up. 300-meter hurdles, heat number 1.
And that's a great way to just lead off right there by Lila DeLosa there in the center lane.
Solid lead here in this first heat. And this is about trying to set a time and hope for the best. I think we had some changes in terms of who was running in which heat here. It's a competitor from Warren Central. We'll get your name coming up in a matter of moments. We do not have a Warren Central competitor scheduled to run in this opening heat, but she has run and run well.
I believe that's Anya Rollins.
She finished in right around 50 seconds.
Who is listed as the second competitor entered in the 300 hurdles, but originally scheduled to run in the first one.
So 49.78.
And that's a respectable time right there. You usually certainly up there to be competitive with possible scoring.
That was Jackson that ran in that heat for Warren Central. Did not have her name listed in the final 12 competitors, but again, things changed during the course of the meet. It's Hayes and Myers that ran second and third. The 9 that are slated to go in this final: Shamari Riley of Lawrence North, Anya Rollins of Warren Central, Mariah Scott of Ben Davis, Teresa Addison of Pike, Talia Jones of Pike, Mary Porter of Warren Central, Ryan Hogan of Ben Davis, Ruby Rogers of North Central, Arisa Boyd of North Central. Scheduled to be the 9 competitors in this final heat.
And so in this event right here, this is one where Pike can really make up a lot of points in the team scoring. Obviously, they have the top 2 seeded times between Katala Jones and Caressa Addison, and so they're both very respectable times right there, both running sub 49 this year. And so if they can just keep with that pace right there, they'll have 18 valuable points for their team later on.
See Mary Porter in lane number 6, already a winner in terms of the high jump. Porter runner-up in terms of the 100-meter hurdles.
Porter was also the MIC Indoor Conference champion in the 60 hurdles. Meanwhile, Katala Jones undefeated so far this year in the 300 hurdles.
And her time is nearly 2 seconds faster than anyone else that is in this heat.
Hoping for a deep year as she, after bowing out in the BD Regional a year ago.
And we are underway with this 300-meter hurdle final. There was a sub-50 time in the first heat.
And so Amaya Rhodes for Ben Davis, quick out of the gate, and she stumbles and loses all of that momentum.
Porter in lane number 6. Jones in lane number 5. Could be a Pike 1-2, Addison and Jones in that 4-5 lane. Now it is Jones starting to pull away. Got 2 more hurdles to clear.
And this is where you feel that burn.
Clip that hurdle. Does not matter, and she runs her best time of the year.
Very nice.
47.41 was her best time. That was in the 46 range that she just ran. So Pike goes 1 and 2, and frankly, it was not close.
46.02.
Yep. So she bettered her best time by nearly a second and a half.
That is a huge jump.
Addison bested her best time by more than 2 seconds. She finishes at just shy of 47 seconds.
So swift PRs all the way around here for the Pike 300 hurdlers. Well done there by Jones and Addison. Big points for the team as well. And they've certainly made their names known now with that big time when it comes to how they stack up in the state final rankings.
Now, we don't change where the hurdles get placed. We simply change the height of the hurdles now for this, the 300 boys hurdles. And again, 3 are slated for heat number 1. 9 are slated for heat number 2.
Yep, that's correct. So the hurdles are the same height for the girls when they're in the 100 hurdles as well as the 300 hurdles. Now, the boys hurdles, they are at 39 inches when they're at 110 distance. They're dropped down to 36 inches when they are at the intermediate, or in this case, 300 hurdles distance.
So the 3 that are slated to be in this heat: Brayton Spradley of North Central, Raylan Harmon of Pike, Emery Shute of North Central. By the way, Danny Royster and Graham West, who had a great duel earlier in the 110, are both in the 300 hurdles. In fact, it's virtually identical, the groups that are in the 110 and the 300 in this event.
The 300 hurdles and the 110 high hurdles, especially in a high school, are very interchangeable, and it's because, they're similar disciplines. And so when they're similar disciplines like that, you're expected to excel at both of them. Now, when you get into the college ranks, you have more specialists, but still, you see a lot more of that parity in the high school ranks.
And the rain coming down. The rain gear starting to go on the cameras here on the ISC Sports Network. We're worried about the forecast for tonight. We have largely had good weather up until this point.
It's about 66 degrees out there right now, but I'm sure it's probably feeling a little bit chillier, especially with the rain now.
Hurdlers to their blocks here in our opening heat. And we're underway. In North Central, lanes 4 and 6. Pike in lane number 5. One hurdle goes flying. Didn't do any damage to the hurdler going over it.
That's Raylan Harmon there at Pike.
Harmon, the best time of this group, coming in at 45.45. Right now it is Spradley of North Central that is off to a good start. Couple of stumbles on the hurdle, but keeps on going.
And it is extremely tough to be able to lift your legs and finish like this.
And finishes with his best time of the year by far. In the 44 to 45 range with Spradley of North Central. Spradley's time, 44-12. That would have put him, if he had run that before, it put him in the top flight, if you will.
That puts him in scoring position based on the seeding time so far.
Absolutely.
There you see the umbrellas coming out, taking a look at the radar. Some spotty showers right now throughout the Indy Metro, but you got a big line of storms, as they say, out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the window over Terre Haute. It's completely closed right now.
Hopefully, we have 4 more events that follow this one. Hopefully we'll be able to get that in time before the heavier stuff starts to come down. And cannot thank our ISC Sports Network crew enough for their fantastic work tonight. Thrilled to be here for the first time for the MIC Track and Field Finals. So the 9 scheduled to go here in this second heat. Mikhail McNeil of Lawrence Central, Jordan Williams of Lawrence Central, James Vaden Jr. from Lawrence North, David Fair of Ben Davis, Denny Royster from Lawrence North, Graham West of Ben Davis, Michael Durham of Lawrence Central, Michael Williams of Lawrence Central, and Samaje Lisbon of Pike.
So now getting set here for this fast final of the 300 hurdles.
Royster and West within 0.05 of a second of each other. Their best times of the year.
Of course, Royster had an excellent showing in the 110 high hurdles earlier tonight. Of course, he has that long, lanky stride, so he's able to use that to his advantage. The fewer strides you take, the less energy you expend.
And the soon-to-be football player at Ball State. Already won 1 hurdles championship here tonight, looking to go for the clean sweep. And we're off. Royster in lane 5. Flanked by Ben Davis runners in lane 4 and lane 6.
Crisp over the hurdles.
Runners make the turn. We'll see who comes out of the pack here heading towards the front stretch.
And look at Graham West. He has the lead going into the final stretch.
That's Ben Davis going 1 and 2. Fair in lane 4. West in lane 6. Royster starting to make up some ground. Royster has caught West. 1 final hurdle to go. West coming back at him. Sprint to the finish. Royster got him. Just enough of a stumble for West. Royster wins the 300 hurdles as well. His best time of the year was 41.3. He's in that neighborhood here, but he is a 2-time champion tonight.
Royster, man, he had some closing speed right there after he had kind of a mediocre curve going through on those hurdles, but he's had some really crisp form over the hurdles through the entirety of the race. Maybe got a little staggered right there, but still an excellent showing there by him.
Royster, 40.29 was his time. Again, he beat his best by a full second. That event.
That is probably one of the top times in the state so far this season. That is incredible time there by Royster, and some big points there for his team as well.
We are down to 4 events left to go tonight here at the MIC Track and Field Finals. We'll take this quick timeout. 800-meter run comes your way next as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is caught.
There you
go.
go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
feel a little momentum starting to fall Elliott's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
Time now for the 800-meter run. Again, this is one race. Everybody goes into the same group. You see them kind of lined up in alleys, if you will, here. Of the number of competitors here in the girls 800. Looks like we will have 12, 2 from each school, that will take part, 2 laps. Carol Ludington of Lawrence North, one of the favorites. Mary Edwards has the best time at 2:22. And Emma Vattensdahl, we saw, won the 1600 a few minutes ago. She, too, one of the favorites. She has the second fastest time of the group.
And you usually see a lot of these competitors shift back and forth between the 8 and the 1600 because that's middle distance territory there for the high school ranks. Now you'll see here they're going to likely have them line up with 2 athletes per lane, and they're going to have to stay in their lane until the breaking point on the far end of the turn. It's only a slight little stagger, so they're either going to do that or have them do a standing start right here along the 1600-meter mark. We'll see what they decide to have them to do. Either way, it's a way to start the it's a fair way to start the race, and it'll be just a nice, clean way so that way they can avoid any mishaps through that first 100 meters.
Ludington, Rhodes, Velez, Andrew Edwards Garnett, Powell, Drake, Vattensdahl, Noel Morales, Davis, and Fuller, the 12 competitors. And again, they will go 3 or 4 at a time here to set the field.
So they're going to do a 2-lane stagger here. So it's officials' discretion on how they would like to start it. They could do single lanes, 2 athletes per lane. They're going to give them a little bit of room here with 3 or 4 athletes per 2 lanes.
And Chris Curry, our official, on the track to help adjudicate that. Everybody there at starting positions, and we're underway. Again, the best time of this group belongs to Edwards of North Central, who finished second in the 1600. Her best time, 2:22.1 in this event.
Of course, 2 runner-up finishes this year for Mary Edwards. Was 4th last year in the MIG Outdoor last season, and eventually qualified for the Ben Davis Regional, where she ended up bowing out.
Those that know track and field better than me say this might be one of the toughest races to run because it is that sweet spot or not so sweet spot between a distance race and a sprint.
Well, this is technically a run. Now, the cutoff between sprint and run designation is the 400 meters. The 400 meters is a sprint. The 800 meters is a quote-unquote run. So, but still, nevertheless, you have that good amalgamation of both sprinter speed and distance stamina. So the 800 meters, doing 2 laps, a full half mile around this track, it's certainly challenging.
It's Edwards and Vattensdahl from North Central. They're going 1-2. Lawrence North has their runner in 3rd. Warren Central checks in at number 4. And the bell will go here momentarily for lap number 2.
So again, these were the 2 competitors, Vattensdahl and Edwards, who were left off of the 4x800 relay team, which ended up winning. So that was obviously a good decision by the coaching staff to keep these 2 athletes fresh.
Ludington from Lawrence North making her move. Ludington has the 3rd best time of the group at just shy of 2:25 on the year. She will jump into 2nd place currently.
But she has a personal best of 2:22 overall for her career, which she ran a year ago. So she is capable. But now here's a nice little challenge by Ludington.
And Lawrence North trying to score some important team points here. And North Central came in as the favorite.
Ludington, the sectional champion at Pendleton a year ago. And I like this move. Just stick right on her hip and then sprint to the finish.
That is Edwards of North Central. So it's going to be a 2-person race for this top spot. Ludington trying to make up the distance. It's going to be close. Good battle on the front straightaway. Does Edwards answer? No. Ludington will win it.
Nice, and that was perfect strategy there by Ludington. She didn't run an extra distance. I mean, she did kind of stick to the outside going through the curve, so she technically ran maybe about a couple meters further than 800 meters, but nevertheless, she just stuck right on the hip of her competitor, let the race come to her, and then outpace her at the end.
Vattensdahl finishes 3rd now. Edwards gave absolutely everything she had. She is just now getting up off the track. That's the second runner from Lawrence North that competed in terms of Bailey Powell that you are seeing there. But that is Edwards that has kind of her, that is just slowly starting to walk away from the finish area for this girls' event. So Edwards clearly had to go deep into the reserves and taxed everything she had, trying to keep up with your winner in Ludington, getting a nice congratulations from Isang Jacob, the director of athletics at Warren Central High School.
Now we still have a competitor on the track finishing out her race here, so they had to kind of whistle to the boys competitors to give her a little bit of room as she comes down the front straight here. So she's going to come down here. That's looks like that's Jalaisha Fuller for Lawrence Central coming across.
So with that, let us get to the 800-meter boys competitors that will be running in this event. And again, you'll hear some familiar names from earlier events tonight. Grant Coburn has the third best time of this group. The top time belongs to Xavier Wills of Warren Central, but Nate Killeen of North Central is 0.2 of a second off of Wills. Those are the three runners that have done this in less than 2 minutes so far this year.
Indeed, and of course, let's take a quick look at Ludington. 2:22.19 was her finishing time there for the girls' 800-meter run. So a nice effort there for her to get the win in that one. But yeah, talking about Nate Killeen and Xavier Wills, this is really going to be a big battle. And also, you can't rule out Grant Coburn. It's going to be three boys right here, two Warren Central competitors along with a North Central kid. It's going to be really, really tight here to see how the strategy plays out.
Grant Coburn, David Adesanya of Ben Davis, Matthias Smith of Pike, Khalil Wynn of Lawrence Central, Xavier Wills of Warren Central, Ethan Powell of Lawrence North, Tristan Powell of Lawrence North, Tydarius Clark of Lawrence Central, Nate Killeen of North Central, Sawyer Hussein of North Central, Xavier Cooper of Pike, and Gabe Backus of Ben Davis. Those are the 12 competitors that will take the track here in this 800-meter final.
So Nate Killeen, one of the top performers in the 800 meters as a sophomore throughout the state in 2021, now a junior. He qualified for the state finals and finished 11th overall, going sub 2 minutes. And in fact, last season he only ran over 2 minutes once all season as a sophomore.
So competitors getting ready. Following this event, we'll have the 200-meter finals. Then it is the 3,200-meter races, the 4x400, and that is it for the evening.
Grant Coburn in this field from Warren Central was the Marion County freshman champion in the 800 meters last season.
Runners told to get to the starting line. And we are underway. By the way, quick update of the team standings. Warren Central leads North Central by 3 in the girls' event. In the boys' event, Lawrence North leading Warren Central by 13.
So a little closer than we thought there for the girls' competition between Warren Central and North Central.
So off to a flyer coming in from the outside. Here in lap 1 of 2. Young man from North Central High School.
And I believe that's Nate Killeen. And indeed it is. Setting the pace early is he.
Killeen. Then it is Wills. Then it is Coburn that go 1, 2, 3. North Central, Warren Central, Warren Central. So far here on lap number 1.
So as you said there, Greg, running right to their seeds at the moment. But it is basically a sprint right now through the first 400 meters. In fact, they're going to come across the line sub 60, a 56-second 400 to open things up.
There is some serious gap between spots 2 and 3 right now.
And so now here's where the stamina really comes into play. Killeen has had a blistering pace all race long. You have Coburn right there just sitting and waiting to pounce.
So Killeen and Wills 1, 2. I believe it is Hussein who is now in 3rd. And then an even further gap behind that. Yeah, these two young men on your screen were 3 and 4 seconds better than the rest of the field. So not surprising they have built up this level of lead. Killeen has led really from, say, the 3rd turn. But now Wills is pouring it on.
And look at Colleen with the closing speed.
And Colleen is leaving him. Does Colleen have enough left in the tank? It certainly appears so.
Oh, this is going to be a fast time.
Colleen crosses the finish stripe at 1:54. It'll be somewhere in that vicinity. He and Wills go 1-2. I believe that is Hussein that will check into the number 3 spotted.
1 minute 54. That's a 2-second personal best for Nate Colleen. That's 1 second off of the top time in the state this season, and Cole Matheson from Carmel.
Love Wills walking up and say, hey, great race. Nothing that Wills could do. Could not catch him.
And credit to Wills, he also had a blistering time. He probably crossed the line at about 155, 156.
Yeah, Colleen was 155.03. Wills was 155.56.
So 3/10.
Yeah, so both runners topped their personal best, or at least their best this season in this championship. But North Central scored some boys' points there by getting first and third in the 800-meter final. When we come back, the girls 200 meters, as you're watching the MIC Track and Field Championships from Pike High School, right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa, my goodness.
122.60 for Penn. What a swim. Six of them.
Shot at the buzzer. Got it! She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Brady, hello. Did it again. Hello. Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello. There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
And back at Grosskopf Stadium, Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling with you here on the ISC Sports Network. Tomorrow on ISC and My Indy TV, it is the Hoosiers Reunion All-Star Classic. The annual boys and girls doubleheaders from Knightstown. 10 of the All-Star girls will be in action at noon tomorrow, followed by the boys game at 2 o'clock. As our All-Star season continues on the ISC Sports Network. April 3rd, it was the HBCA All-Star Classic. Then last week, right here at Pike High School, the Midwest Challenge won by Team Indiana. Coming up tomorrow, it is the Hoosier Union Classic. We'll have the junior-senior games on June 8th, Indiana-Kentucky at Owensboro on June 10th, and then the Indiana-Kentucky rematch at Southport Fieldhouse on Saturday, June 11th. Be sure to join us there. So we've already had our 200-meter preliminary races. So we have a 200-meter final in the girls and then the boys. So the fastest 9 of each of those two about to take to the track to compete for another big championship.
Of course, the top 8 of those 9 score, and once again, the big focus is going to be Ramaya Elliott, who is going to be one of the competitors here. Obviously qualifying in a blistering time, going 23 seconds in the preliminary rounds. And Greg, I think it's not out of the question to see that we'll probably see a new MIC record here in the 200 meters. Of course, the current MIC record held by Lena Irby of Pike High School, 23.8 was that one right there. But now I think Ramaya Elliott is more than capable of surpassing that record based on the performances that we've seen from her so far this evening.
So competitors starting to get ready. And as Kurt alluded to, Elliott is the clear favorite.
Defending state champion in this event. Won the state championship in both the 200 and the 400 a year ago. Of course, we didn't see Elliott in the 400 here today, but could see her later on.
Boys 200 will follow. Each of those competitors coming up in a matter of moments.
So you're going to see Elliott, but also Kassira Simmons of Ben Davis also had a really good time in the preliminaries. She's currently the second competitor in the state behind Elliott. So you have the top two runners in the 200 about to take the track together here in this race.
Following this event, we have the two 3200s, and we have the two 4x400s to close out our business this evening. This 200 final is underway. Elliott in lane number 5, the clear favorite. Ben Davis in lane 6, Warren Central in lane 4. Elliott racing against herself at this point. What time will she have? She crossed right around 23 seconds. Ben Davis will come in second. Warren Central will come in third. But as expected, Elliott was a party of one in this race.
Pretty much. You had Simmons coming in at a distant second. Great start for her. She ran an excellent curve as Elliott goes 23:48. So based off of what we've seen here, that is a new conference record. 23:48.
Well, as you were talking about, that potential record she had a chance to beat was that of current Olympian Lena Irby. Lena's name is all over the IHSAA, Mick, and Pike record books. So Elliott sets a new conference record, and that is legendary David Woods down there in the field to talk to her. David was just inducted to the Indiana Sports Writers and Sportscasters Hall of Fame some 3 weeks ago. Of course, covering the meet for the Indianapolis Star. So now time for the boys 200. The 9 qualifiers from earlier. Jalen Reeves-Lyle was fastest by half a second for Warren Central. Troy Golden of Pike, Christian Woodson of North Central, Nias Bryant of Lawrence North, Israel Jackson of Lawrence North, Tyan Clark of Lawrence Central, Damian Curlin of Pike, Sean Holton of Ben Davis, and Matthew Rodriguez of Ben Davis. They are the 9 competitors that have qualified for the 200-meter final.
So plenty of competitors to go around here in this one.
By the way, 1.2 seconds encompasses the field here, at least from the earlier qualifying times. Reeves-Lyle, 22:01, the fastest qualifier. Rodriguez of Ben Davis, 9th at 23.21.
And so you don't usually see this matchup here because nowadays when you have competitors that do two sprinting events, they're usually a 100 and 200 meter specialist. Well, here you have a 100 and 200 meter specialist in Jalen Reeves-Lyle of Warren Central going up against the 200, 400 meter specialist in Troy Golden. So Golden does not run the 100 meters on the regular. He's more of an extended sprinter. So it really goes to show you how the competitiveness between pure speed as well as speed along with a little bit of stamina over a course of 200 meters.
Oldest record in the MIC record books for track and field. This league formed in 1996 is in this event. You got to go back to 1997 for the record in the 200.
That would be Reuben Carter of Lawrence North, 21:36 in 1997, which is a blistering pace to say the least, especially for a high schooler.
I don't know if Reeves-Lyle will get there. He might be sub-22. I'm not sure he'll get to 21:36. Good to see David Paddock, Director of Athletics here at Pike High School. Thanks to David for having us out tonight. Appreciate that.
Temperature's still falling here right now, so staying warm is ever more important at this juncture of the meet.
We're just happy the raindrops aren't falling right now.
That is for now. Still have a big line of rain coming.
I will tell this, we may skedaddle a little, we won't obviously leave an event, but in terms of kind of getting the normal trophy presentations, medals, ribbons, and things of that nature, we may unfortunately be able to bring that to you to get our crew to safety in tearing down after the conclusion of our broadcast tonight. So our 200 is underway. Again, Reeves-Lyle of Warren Central at the center of your screen. Woodson of North Central is to his left. Reeves-Lyle starting to pull away. Reeves Lyle is going to win it. Golden charging for third. Reeves Lyle again as expected. I think he's under 22. Clearly was the winner. Woodson in second. I think Golden came back to get him in third.
So if he's under 22, that's going to be a new season and personal best for him. Really well-run race right there by Lyle. Had a good curve, but still even better for Woodson there, just to keep pace with him.
And again, you see the absolute maximum effort given. 22.1 was the final time for Reeves Lyle. Woodson, 22.30. Golden, 22.6. 22.1, 22.3, 22.6. So actually, Reeves Lyle credited with a faster time in the preliminaries, but still, he was in control of this race from the start.
Granted, also, during the preliminaries, it was probably about 5 or 10 degrees warmer.
Yep.
So he was probably able to get a little bit more performance out of his leg muscles there. But still, bottom line is he got the points, he got the win. Excellent run by Reeves Lyle, and it continues on here to the next event.
Our longest distance races of the night, the 3200s, come your way next. First, the girls and the boys. We'll have them for you after this as you're watching the Mick Track and Field Championships right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marion County. Unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Living up to that last name.
Wabash has the lead for the first time today.
So that was going to be a highlight reel.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
3, 2, 1.
Has the first dunk in the building from Aaron Zoya. Waits, Waddell finishes.
And lays it in.
There is right now the
Nice
play of the game.
move. Better finish. We might see that on plays of the week. Great feed. The finish. Spin, win, three. Bury it in the lane. No, gun, yes.
Whoa, what a play. Flying in.
We are down to 2 distance events left to go. Boys 3,200, first the girls 3,200, and after that the 4x400 meter relays. Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling with you again. My partner ran collegiately at Indiana State University, ran locally at Brownsburg High School. What has impressed you about what you have seen from both the boys and the girls tonight?
Well, so far it's just been the consistency for North Central for the girls' side, especially led by Ramaya Elliott's big wins in the 100 and the 200, as well as some help in the 4x100 meter relay. But North Central, actually Warren Central on the girls' side, they've really come to play here tonight. They've put some pressure on North Central, but North Central's regained a 5-point advantage. Lawrence North, on the other hand, on the boys' side, they've led from start to finish here. They've had some excellent performances from many different competitors. Anais Bryant, one of them in the boys 200 meters. But still, you have a lot left to go here with these last 2 races, and with how close the scoring is on both sides of the aisle, you're going to have there's a big premium on the points that are left to give out here in the last 2 events.
10 competitors as Chris Curry readies the field to get started here. Sophia Tipmore is the favorite of North Central. She has the inside track on lane 1. Her best is 14 seconds clear of the field here in this 3,200. Maddie Rocchio of North Central, next quick. Michaela Coburn of Warren Central. Amaya Pittman of Lawrence North. Rachel Schwab of Pike. Brianna Wilkerson of Warren Central. Sogo Bakari of Pike. Jasmine Strelo of Lawrence North. Eliana Coleman of Ben Davis. And Nadia Noble of Ben Davis round out our field here in the 3,200.
So this is the longest race on the IHSAA docket here. Of course, even in the collegiate levels, you have competitors running like the 5,000 and the 10,000 meters. But here you only go 3,200 meters, 8 laps around the 400-meter track. Of course, Sophia Tipmore, along with Maddie Rocchio. They're the top 2 in front at the moment. Tipmore was already has 1 win this year in the Pike Lawrence North Central Tri-Meet. Of course, was the runner-up in the Mick Indoor in this event, or in this event last year.
Not much separation so far here in the opening stages. Lap 1 of 8 about to be completed. We'll give you the full team rundown, so we got a little time and space in this race. North Central 5 points clear of Warren Central on the girls' side from a team standpoint. Then Pike is in third, Ben Davis fourth, Lawrence North fifth, and Lawrence Central checks in sixth. On the boys' side, Lawrence North 1, 8 points clear of Warren Central. Ben Davis in third, North Central in fourth, Lawrence Central fifth, and Pike currently in sixth position.
And so you see right there, the top two scoring. It's really close, within 10 points for both sides. So every point that you can get is paramount here from here on out. So in the 3,200 meters, it's a true distance race, so you don't have to worry about being quick right out of the gate. You can take your time. You see the girls kind of bunching up a little bit here, and they'll be setting the pace just a little bit early, nice and consistent, and it's really all about just kind of winding down laps. You just get through the distance, and then the race really begins in the final 800 meters.
If you kind of average out Tipmore's pace, what her best has been, about a minute 28 per lap is what you're looking at over the course of 8 laps.
And that's a pretty reasonable pace. You look for about 90 seconds per 400 meters in a 3,200-meter race, especially for the girls. For the boys, you'll probably look at a little bit closer to 80 seconds, maybe 75 seconds per lap if you are really pushing the pace. But right now, you can just see both of these North Central girls working together, playing the team game, just setting the pace the way that they want to run the race.
So we have a group of 6 now that are kind of going forward. Both North Central runners. Rachel Schwab of Pike. The Warren Central duo of Wilkerson and Coburn. And then Pittman of Lawrence North. Those 6 have separated themselves from Sogo Bakari, Jasmine Strelo, and Leanna Coleman, and Nadia Noble representing Ben Davis.
And so they come across through the first half mile at about 3 minutes even. So again, a nice kind of a slower pace than what you normally see there after the first couple of laps. But again, setting a good pace. And the 2022 best so far this year is Delta's Nikki Sutherland, who's only a sophomore this year. She ran 10 minutes and 30 seconds earlier this season. Again, a sophomore running that. Of course, when you're going to go back even further, last season, Lily Cridge of Chittard, she ran at 10 minutes, 3 seconds at the state championships
She was
last year.
a tremendously decorated distance runner in the state of Indiana. Of course, the state track and field finals, June 3rd and June 4th down at Indiana University in Bloomington.
And so here you see a little bit of movement as Tipmore is going to try and push the pace just a little bit, maybe try and get a little bit of separation from the rest of the competitors.
Tipmore 1, Rokio 2. Schwab of Pike currently is in third position. We're seeing a little more stretched out now, 1 through 6. The duo of Warren Central runners in terms of Coburn and Wilkerson have dropped back to 5th and 6th position. Pittman of Lawrence North currently in 4th.
Of course, it's interesting watching Rokio here in second place for North Central, has primarily throughout the entirety of her career been a specialist in the 800 meters. So really bumping up the pace here and bumping up the distance for her, and she's really shown her competitiveness being seated number 2 here.
So our official on the start-finish line said 5 laps to go.
And now there you see Tipmore really kind of picking it up now. She probably had enough of the slow pace a little bit. Again, just banking a little bit of energy right there, kind of going with the slow pace. And then once you start really getting into your groove, you can start picking it up and moving through to the last mile.
It's the final female individual event of the night. So we'll have the 4x400 relay for the girls and the boys as well.
My favorite event.
Boys 3,200. I know you were a decathlete in terms of your college days. What were your events from a high school standpoint?
So I was primarily a pole vaulter. So I did I did pole vaulting, and then I was kind of a utility 400-meter runner whenever my coach needed me. So I was primarily the leadoff leg for the Brownsburg 4x400-meter relay. And I ran a couple of standing 400s whenever that was called upon.
Halfway point for Tipmore. If she doubles her pace from the first mile to the second, she will run just shy of 12 minutes, which is not her best time. but clearly in control of this race halfway through.
Well, that's also unless she really kicks it into high gear over the next couple of laps or so. So it'll be interesting to see how if she can keep up the pace here. Again, she banked a lot of energy keeping with a slower pace at the early going. So halfway home at about 6 minutes, right at a 12-minute pace, that's right where you need to be, especially since you have close to a 50-meter gap between second place. And she's looking very comfortable right now here going through the turn.
Some of the results being announced to the folks here from the past 400.
Doing the boys 400 meters here at the moment over the public address. And now you see Tipmore kind of closing in here on the tail end of the field.
Yep.
And going to be lapping a couple of competitors.
Again, if this pace kind of continues, she might win this by half a lap at this point.
It's very possible, and sometimes you even see competitors, especially in the high school ranks, winning it by almost 3/4 of a lap if they're really able to push the pace. As we now have 3 laps to go, crosses the line at 7:28, so she's picking it up a little bit. She crossed right at 6 minutes at the halfway point, so she just did an 88-second lap right there, and so she's kind of picking it up just a little bit and keeping it nice and comfy.
It is basically a 12-second advantage that she has at this point.
And she can just keep it that way. She's banking 12 seconds. She's probably going to extend a little more. And also, you get a little bit of a pep in your step when you come up on the tail end of the field when you're leading a race like this. You're like, okay, this gives me something to push for. Almost like when you're watching international competition, you see designated runners called the rabbit. Well, in this particular case, you can it gives you something to chase. And right here, you can see Tipmore kind of taking advantage of that.
Rocchio 2, Schwab 3, and then Pittman 4. That has not changed behind her. Those 3 are kind of running their own race at this point. That is some lapped traffic, if you will, the 2 runners from Ben Davis that you see in the shot currently behind Tipmore.
And there you see second place in that group of 3 right there behind them. Again, she just looks so relaxed. She doesn't show sign of any strain at all. Very experienced already, the junior. 1 more year here at North Central. And on top of that, it just goes to show you, they have excellent distance program at North Central, but along with the sprinting talent of Ramaya Elliott, you really just see on display how complete this North Central track and field program really is, which is why they're number 1 in the state.
By the way, Pittman from Lawrence North has now jumped in front in terms of that next pack. She is second. But again, you are 15 to 20 seconds back of the leader at this point with 2 laps left to go. So it is really the race is for second, third, and fourth at this juncture. There is little doubt that Tipmore will win and win going away, as she really has almost an entire straightaway advantage at this point.
Last year, she was 6th in the MIC Outdoor Championships. Granted, that was also with the talented runners of both Center Grove and Carmel to deal with just a year ago. So that just goes to show you the dynamic that has really changed from not having those 2 schools here at this meet this year. But needless to say, even if they were here, she would be very competitive with the times that she's putting up right now.
So next time by for Tipmore, she will get the bell lap.
And so she'll likely cross here maybe at about 10 minutes, 30 seconds. So she could do less than 12 minutes if she really wanted to here and kick it into high gear over the last 400.
So about to cross the start-finish line. Here's that bell, and does so at the 10:25 mark. Again, her best this year, 11:46. So she'd have to run about an 80-second closing lap. What's the chances of that?
Not good, but she's certainly capable of doing it. No, I would probably say that she probably puts maybe about an 88, 87, 88-second lap here. But she really has to kick it into gear, but she could certainly do it here. She has a little bit of time to work with.
By the way, it's Pittman 2, Rocchio 3, and now some distance back to Schwab in 4th as far as the race behind Tipmore at this point.
So she has 200 meters left to go here, does Tipmore. and she has about 50 seconds left to get it under 12 minutes.
Runner from North Central, by the way, in Arokio, has jumped back in front of Pittman now in terms of the race for second.
And that's points. That's big points right there for North Central, since they only have a 5-point advantage on Warren Central right now.
But Tipmore headed down the front straightaway. That is Bakari from Pike that is in front of her. And this is a lap difference as Tipmore's about to finish. Given the finishing kick she's on, it will be a sub-12-minute finish. Won't be her best of the year, but certainly the best of the night as she crosses at about 11:51. Well done by Tipmore.
And you can't ask for anything better from Tipmore. She wins the race by a hefty margin. Here comes her teammate in Maddie Rocchio in second.
11:51.44 is the winning time. From Lawrence North, Amaya Pittman finishes third at approximately 12:16. Good race by Rachel Schwab. She will beat her best time of the year by nearly 10 seconds as she finishes in fourth. The duo from Warren Central in Coburn and Wilkerson, they've been running fifth and sixth the entire meet. I think that's going to be the case here again as well, as those two will finish the 3,200-meter final.
And that just goes to show you the difference right here. Warren Central, they had a 5-point deficit on North Central coming into this event. Well, because of the 18 points that North Central has now scored to the 11 points by Warren Central, they have now extended that lead out front for the women's title. And so now really North Central, it's North Central's title to lose going into the 4x4.
So, with that, the 3,200-meter final, again, the top competitors have finished. A couple of others still have yet to complete their time. Let us take this quick time out when we come back. The boys' 3,200-meter final, as you're watching the Mick Track and Field Championships from Pike High School, right here on the ISC Sports Network.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score.
Ball here.